is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA play-in tournament rolls on tonight with a doubleheader of win or go home of 9 versus 10 games. Starts with Heat Bulls, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. Winner meets Atlanta Friday for 8th in the East. Then it's Mavericks and Kings. ESPN Radio NBA analyst and former NBA coach, PJ Carlesimo.
If they play the way they're capable of playing, it's going to be a hell of a game. I think watching the front court matchup is going to be incredible. You got to like what Sacramento has in the backcourt, the way Levine is playing right now. DeMar DeRozan doesn't seem to get older. He just seems to be, productive year in, year out. He makes big plays down the stretch.
PJ Carlesimo on Freddie and Harry. Winner of Dallas-Sacramento plays Memphis Friday for 8th in the West. Duke freshman Con Kneppel will enter June's NBA draft. He's the number 8 prospect in ESPN's NBA draft projections. Former Heisman Trophy winner and first-round NBA draft pick Charlie Ward set to become the new basketball coach at Florida A&M. NHL Stars activated Tyler Seguin for tonight's regular season finale.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday. There's a lot of chatter about all these quarterbacks not named Shador. I'll tell you why these teams better not fool themselves into overdrafting the wrong guy. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ton to do. I'm going to put off ripping Derek Carr and the Saints for 15 minutes, but I'll blow a gasket on that trash pile of an organization in 15 minutes. But let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Figured I'd change it up. Just keep you on your toes a little.
That's always helpful.
Keep them guessing.
Yeah.
Everyone expects me to come out annihilating Derek Carr for the latest. I'm gonna do it after the break.
There you go. Love it.
Take that, Greenberg.
Take that, Green. And it's good, too.
In 12 minutes. I like LSU baseball. I watch a lot of LSU baseball, all of it, as a matter of fact, and talk about it. And a lot of you throughout the season ask me the same questions over and over and over and over again. That's okay. I get it. There's a lot of you. There's one of me. You don't listen to everything all the time. I get it. But it's always, hey, man, are Cowan and Evans going to move into the rotation? No. Hey, man, what are they doing at third with Reeves and Braswell? And one that's kind of front and center all season is, hey, man, what's really going on with Gavin Guidry? And I've told you forever, he was dealing with a legitimate back injury that sort of an adjacent secondary injury sort of accompanies that now. And After the game on Tuesday, when LSU beat McNeese, Jay Johnson announced that they have lost Gavin Guidry for the year.
Guidry is going to have a procedure on Friday. He'll be out for the season. And so there you have the deal. And luckily for us, those guys, Rizzy, Williams, Myers, you can add those guys as guys we're really excited to add to the mix of Cowan, Evans, and the starters. And tough break for Gavin, but we'll be fine.
Jay went through the whole thing about how Guidry was set to pitch. He was set to start, as a matter of fact, against Nichols in that first midweek game, the one that got rained out. Ultimately, had the back injury come up. They were treating him, trying to get him healthy. They were ramping up the throwing program. He had a setback and ultimately got to the point where they made the decision, look, he's going to do this procedure, be out 3 to 4 months, and then be ready to go for 2026. Jay also talked about how Guidry's taken the news so far.
He was sad, when it finally came to it. And then we actually, Friday was kind of like a one last ditch effort after he had saw the doctor to see if we could do one more thing. That was a little bit from kind of a new source, and it didn't really take. And I think there's some peace of mind now, but we were trying to get him back. And he was trying to get back. And then kind of last week, it just got to can't do it. There you go. There's a full scope. So everybody knows I was telling the truth the entire time.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a couple of things. There's how this affects 2025 and how it affects 2026. So let's start with the immediacy. Obviously, you haven't had Gavin Guidry at all this season. So, nothing lost, nothing gained, so to speak. It's disappointing because the biggest Achilles heel for this team so far this year has been the bullpen. However, in the last 2 weeks, your bullpen's been really good. Remember, you went to Oklahoma and didn't allow an earned run over 3 games. And then you went this weekend to Auburn, and while your starting pitching maybe didn't give you the length and effectiveness that you were hoping for, your bullpen was very good against Auburn. And then on Tuesday night against McNeese, and I understand it's a midweek game, but McNeese is a good mid-major team. Connor Ware notwithstanding, who faced 3 hitters and walked 2 of them. Everybody else was really good. Rizzy was good, struck out 6 in 2 2/3, didn't walk anybody. Cooper Williams was good. Jacob Myers allowed a sort of little bloop single in the 9th, but other than that was awesome. Feels like you're developing a lot of guys you can kind of trust. Now, if you had Guidry, it would help to answer one of the first things, that's the hypothetical I get asked all the time, which is, hey, man, are Cowan and Evans going to move to the rotation? The answer to that is no, but if you had Guidry at the back, you might be able to make that move if you needed to. Now, that there's no sense in making that because you got to have consistent arms out of the bullpen who can affect potentially multiple games in a weekend. The other part of it is 2026. And this is what's so interesting because, Gavin Guidry was, again, going to start, as Jay Johnson said, the game against Nichols earlier this year. But in his career, Gavin Guidry has 45 appearances over 2 seasons. 45 appearances. That's a lot. 1 start. He started 1 game his freshman season. His career-long outing is 4 innings in one of those midweek games against Northwestern State. So this isn't a guy who's shown he can extend, but wanted the opportunity, and that was an opportunity they were going to give him. Not necessarily he was going to win a starting job, but they were going to give him the opportunity this year. So when you look at next season in 2026, and I understand the focus is now on 2025 and how to win a championship in 2025, and the reality is I think LSU has all the pieces to do that. You can roll your eyes because they just got swept at Auburn, but good teams lose weekends. You were in all 3 games, and you just didn't make the plays. This is also a team that went on the road and swept a top 10 Oklahoma team. Like, LSU has everything. They can hit 1 through 9. They've got really good starting pitchers. They've got depth of arm talent in the bullpen. They're good. They are capable of beating anybody and winning a national championship. Can they get there and play their best in Omaha? That all remains to be seen. But when I look to 2026, you weren't supposed to have Gavin Guidry. This was his draft year. But now that he's going to have a back procedure, and I talked to a scout last night after Jay Johnson made the announcement that Guidry was done for the year and said, is there any chance a team would take a flyer on Guidry even in a late round? He said point blank, no. Nobody's going to draft him coming off a back injury. So the good news for Gavin is he'll maintain a year of leverage because he'll have a redshirt year, because this will count as a redshirt year. So he could pitch next year and still have leverage in next summer's draft, the 2026 draft. But he'll come back in a year where you're going to lose a ton. I mean, you're going to lose Anderson, who's a draft-eligible sophomore and a projected top 15 pick. You're going to lose Evans, and you're going to lose Ianson. Not Evans, excuse me. You're going to lose Anderson and Ianson, and you're going to lose Shores, and you're going to lose Cowan. You're going to lose a guy like Dalton Beck, who's in his final year of eligibility. You're going to lose Jacob Myers. I mean, you're going to lose a lot of these guys that are Jaden Newt's going to have a decision to make. He missed time, obviously, with Tommy John, but does he try to run it back one more year? Point is, you're going to lose you're going to lose your entire rotation, a lot of key arms. So next year, having Gavin Guidry back is going to be paramount. Now you're going to get Devin Sheeran back. Remember, Devin Sheeran's the giant from Mount St. Mary's who all of a sudden popped up and started throwing 99. Tore his ACL, so he missed the season. Devin Sheeran will be back next year. William Schmidt will be vying for a rotation spot. Kaysen Evans will be vying for a rotation spot. Gavin Guidry will certainly be in the mix somewhere along the way. Maverick Rizzi, Cooper Williams, they'll all be back. And they're going to go in the portal. I mean, just like 2 years ago, they went in the portal and got Paul Skeens. And last year, they went in the portal and they got Luke Holman and Gage Jumpin. This year, they went in the portal and they got Anthony Ianson and Devin Sheeran and Zach Cowan. They're going to do it again. They're going to go find someone with elite arm talent, high-level talent, who's been a starting pitcher to try to come and win a job next year. And if your incumbent guys hold them off, great. But Guidry will factor in some way. So it's a big boost for 2026 that you weren't expecting to have, because we were all anticipating Gavin would sign after this year. But it certainly is disappointing here in 2025 for a team that has everything you need, with its biggest question mark being the bullpen, and that was a big piece you were hoping to get back at some point, and now you won't. So Gavin Guidry, done for the season. That is now official. He'll have the procedure on Wednesday, 3 to 4 month recovery. Should be good to go in time for fall ball. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR and the official beer of the Tigers. LSU and Alabama 3-game series opens up tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you're going to be at the box, watching at home, watching at the restaurant or the sports bar, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers. Nothing goes together better than Buds and Boils. So if it's Bud Light, and, of course, those Mud Bugs, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, well, now I got a quick break. We got a lot to do today. The spring transfer portal window open today, Wednesday. I will get to that. Scott Shanle in about 45 minutes from right now. We'll get his opinion on the whole Derek Carr, Saints, Loomis situation, everything therein. That's coming up in about 45 minutes. When we come back, though, the Derek Carr saga has taken another turn. There's a new report about what Derek Carr's intentions were going into this offseason with the Saints. We'll share it with you when we come back. You got to hear this. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
The Advanced Turnaround Group is a subsidiary of Action Industries. You can learn more online at actionindinc.com. Actionindinc.com. Action Industries Incorporated. But remember, the Advanced Turnaround Group. We're in turnaround season now till about October. If you're looking for companies to bid your turnaround job, make sure you remember the Advanced Turnaround Group, subsidiary of Action Industries. They're a proud partner of LSU Athletics. They're local, and they know who they are. Two things that are of the utmost importance. Number one, exemplary safety record. You know this. You don't get hired to do work inside the fence if you don't meet the industry standards for safety. Action Industries beats the industry safety standards. And you don't keep getting rehired for 4 decades if you don't do quality work. That's Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group. So you can learn more online at actionindinc.com for Action Industries.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, Scott Shanle next hour. Eddie Radosevich will be here in hour number 2 as well. And Brian Kelly met with reporters on Tuesday after practice, and there's a lot we didn't get to a day ago. Him being impressed with the early enrollees, the transfer portal approach, a lot to get to over the course of the show today. The Derek Carr saga continues to have twists and turns like a roller coaster. On Friday, we learned that Carr has a shoulder injury that could cost him the season. Led me and many others to wonder why in the world you'd go restructure him, attaching yourself financially to Derek Carr for multiple years, knowing you weren't likely going to have him this year. And again, the reason to do that is because you felt Carr could help you win this year. I mean, that's why you would restructure to free up cap space to go spend money to build around Derek Carr to win this year. That's the, at its most basic level, the point of the restructure. You could have gotten within cap compliance without restructuring Carr. That gave you $30 million worth of cap space to go make other moves to build a roster. That's a big trash pile roster, by the way. But it's fitting because this is a giant trash pile organization right now. It's becoming clearer and clearer every day. So we learned Derek Carr is injured. When did they know? Did they restructure him already without knowing? Weekend goes along. Diana Rossini has the report where she says Saints knew. Derek Carr leaked this. They didn't want it out there. Derek Carr leaked it out there because he's trying to use it as trade bait. Naturally, I melt over that. One of the least self-aware humans you could possibly imagine in a position of leadership. A quarterback of an NFL team with a 9-figure contract who lacks that much self-awareness. But it's no surprise because that's been who he is. But if you thought that was the punchline, that's the tip of the iceberg. Because what Ari Myrov is reporting brings this to a completely different level. My total disdain for Derek Carr as a human because of how he's handling this. Now, Ari Myrov is with the 33rd team, and you may not know what that is, and that's fine. There's a lot of digital media and new media. But suffice to say, there's a lot of people who listen to Ari Myrov. He's got 790,000 Twitter followers, okay? He's got over 750,000 Twitter followers. He's got an audience. People follow him, okay? Just because he doesn't have ESPN or Fox or NFL Network behind his name doesn't mean he's not credible. Ari Myrov is doing his podcast, The NFL Spotlight, and drops this nugget.
I'll say this now. I don't think Derek Carr wanted to stay with the Saints anymore at the start of the offseason, whether that was a trade or a cut. I think he wanted to be done over there. But after weeks of everyone staying quiet at the beginning of the offseason, the team eventually just restructured his contract on March 8th, right before free agency. And they can do that whenever they want. They didn't need Derek Carr's permission to do that. His side made it very clear they're not doing a pay cut. But this Derek Carr injury that came out all of a sudden on Friday and was reported, the timing made it sound very weird. People around the NFL believe Derek Carr has been trying to get out of New Orleans, and the Saints restructuring his contract was something he wished they did not do.
I'm sorry. What was that last part again?
And the Saints restructuring his contract was something he wished they did not do.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm just not getting it. I think my headphones might be going out, Muse. There might be a short in these. I think Ari Myrov said the Saints restructuring Derek Carr's contract is something he wished they didn't do. Is that what I heard? Can I hear that?
The Saints restructuring his contract was something he wished they did not do.
Oh, I heard that right. Yeah, that's what he said?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Derek Carr didn't want the Saints to restructure his contract.
That's what you just heard.
And we think Ari Myrov pretty credible?
Yeah.
We're okay with that? Paul, you okay with that? Ari Myrov, you okay with him?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Three months ago, in January, Catherine Terrell, also very credible, spoke one-on-one with Derek Carr in the Saints locker room about his contract and his future in New Orleans. And the great thing about this ain't some anonymous source. This ain't I heard from. This ain't league sources indicate. What you're about to hear is Derek Carr's voice. Like him saying it. First person. Cat Terrell asked him about a pay cut, which we all know now. He said, we remember the quote, right? I wouldn't take a pay cut. But remember the other part of what he said? Hit it, Muse.
I wouldn't take a pay cut. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Especially with what I put on tape. You know, would I restructure? Absolutely. Like, I always help the team that way, but.
Oh! I wouldn't take a pay cut. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Would I restructure? Absolutely. I'll always help the team in that way. Can I hear that again? It was a little muffled because there was a lot of background noise, but I think I heard that right.
Especially with what I put on tape. You know, would I restructure? Absolutely. Like, I'll always help the team that way, but.
Would I restructure? Absolutely. I'll always help the team that way. Let me remind you, he offered that information. Cat didn't ask him about a restructure. Cat asked him if he would take a pay cut. And he very plainly said, I wouldn't take a pay cut. Wouldn't do that, especially with what I put on tape. No doubt, Derek, you did an awesome job leading the Saints to a 5-12 record and playing in less than half the season, you jackleg. Nonetheless, wouldn't take a pay cut. She didn't ask him about a restructure. All she asked him about was a pay cut. And he said, no, I wouldn't do that. He brought up restructure. He volunteered that information to make himself seem like the good guy. Would I restructure? Absolutely. I'll always help the team in that way. That's an absolute. His words, not mine, not sources, not league sources, not multiple sources, not industry sources, not friend of a family member said, not his agent. Derek Carr, in his own mouth, you know, the orifice above his chin and below his eyes lined in eyeliner. His mouth said that. Would I restructure? Absolutely. I'll always help the team that way. Now, he's pissed that the Saints restructured his contract? Yo, how sloppy is this organization? I mean, the imagery of a dumpster fire is so perfect. It's why people say it all the time. Oh, they're a dumpster fire. But saying dumpster fire has become so cliche because everybody says it all the time. I need to find some new imagery to make an analogy with the New Orleans Saints. Like pile of trash, trash can organization, something. I like steaming pile of dung. There's a lot of different ways I could go with this. Maybe you can help me come up with a new way to describe the New Orleans Saints and how sloppy this is. I mean, the Raiders and the Browns, thank you, New Orleans Saints, for becoming the laughingstock of the NFL and taking the mantle from them. I mean, point blank said he would restructure. The team restructures him, and now he's pissed about it, faking a shoulder injury or using a shoulder injury as leverage to try to get a trade after the team already restructured him. Look, there was a handful of ways you could have gone about this offseason. One, Derek Carr take a pay cut, which he said he wouldn't do. But then he offers the whole, I'll always restructure to help the team. So you could restructure, which they did. And they saved $30 million against the cap. Now, I hated that. I said at the time that was a huge mistake because what you did in restructuring Derek Carr, yes, you gained $30 million in cap space this year, but you're still going to be hot trash, and you only did that thinking you were going to have Derek Carr because he helped you win. That in and of itself is a flawed line of thinking because Derek Carr stinks. He's never going to be an elite quarterback. I've been screaming about that now since literally the day they signed him. So you do that, as stupid as it was, but you did that clearly thinking he was going to be your quarterback. Now, you're going to have $60 million of dead money next year and $40 million in dead money in 2027 because of the awful deal that you've done with Derek Carr. You could have designated him as a post-U1 release or trade without the restructure. You could have straight up traded him, but who would want that player and that contract? Because as we've said, he's mid with an awful contract. And the final option is the one that I was sitting here pounding this table, imploring Gumsmackin' Mickey and Grandma Gail to do, which is take your freaking medicine. Y'all, you don't have to be someone who spent 20 years in NFL front offices doing deals to understand things that are simple life principles about discipline and consequences. Like, these are things you learn when you're 5 years old. If you go eat a pile of candy at 9 o'clock at night, your stomach's going to hurt. It's going to be hard to sleep. You know what you do? You don't eat the pile of candy. Hey, don't touch that stove. It's going to burn. What do? You learn the hard way. You know what you don't do ever again? Touch the stove. What do the Saints keep doing? Taking their open palm and slamming that son of a bugger going, it ain't going to burn this time. And then their hand looks like Joe Pesci in Home Alone on the doorknob. You could have played out 2025 with Derek Carr under his existing contract. He would have counted $51 million against the cap. Now, that was stupid. I said last year I wouldn't have restructured him because it was clear to me last year you were going nowhere fast with Derek Carr, but you restructured him. So you could have taken your medicine, counted $51.4 million against the cap this year, and then after this year, you'd have been done. Shoulder injury or not, you'd have been done with it. But now you're going to carry this albatross around your financial neck for 2 more years. And you're not even going to have him this year. You're going to be a giant wad of suck this year. I don't know if you saw it. Odds makers have updated playoff odds. The New Orleans Saints have about a 20% chance of making the playoffs. Minus 600 that they will not make the playoffs. So you're going nowhere this year for the honor of going nowhere and having this albatross hanging around your figurative neck. You get to pay him $60 million against the cap next year when he's not on your roster, and then $40 million the following year. Oh, joy. Meanwhile, right down the street, actually right next door, Gail Benson blows out David Griffin after 6 years when they made the playoffs twice. Gumsmack and Mickey keeps driving this thing into the ground and just let him keep on. Just let him keep on. I mean, the absolute gross level of incompetence in this organization is stunning. And not only are the decisions bad, but the way it's playing out publicly, the optics of it are even awful. Like, you can go through situations that look bad publicly, but you know the result's going to be positive, so you'll weather that storm of public criticism to get to the end game. But sometimes everything sucks, and that's what this is. You're Andy Dufresne crawling through 300 yards of human excrement. But there is no Mexican island scrubbing your boat at the other end. What's at the other end is more human excrement that you get to crawl through. That's the New Orleans Saints right now. How in the world does Derek Carr 3 months ago tell Catherine Terrell on the record, would I restructure? Absolutely. I'll always help the team that way. And then here we are today with reports that Derek Carr did not want the Saints to restructure him. And he wanted out. And then they go restructure him anyway. To financially commit yourself to a disgruntled quarterback even further. You got a Pinocchio quarterback who publicly says one thing and behind the scenes does another. That's a lack of integrity, by the way. And you got a GM that's too dense to understand why you wouldn't want that guy leading your team. How the hell did they get anybody to take this job? Our guy, Ellen Moore, must have been paid $20 million a year.
Ellen Moore.
How much did Grandma Gail have to pay him? What do you think his contract's worth? He's got to be the richest coach in the NFL. 36 years old, they had to have made him the richest coach in the NFL. Everybody the Saints wanted. They thought they were getting Aaron Glenn. Y'all know that? Like back in October, they were telling people they were getting Aaron Glenn. And Aaron Glenn was like, I don't want your job. I'd rather go to the Jets. They have ruined my Sundays, man. I'm not going to get an ounce of enjoyment out of a Sunday watching football until all of these jokers are gone. Sell the team. Fire Mickey. Sell the team. Grandma Gail can get down to Boca. Spend the rest of her days there. Enjoy it. Enjoy your wealth. Let someone who's competent run this thing. I mean, this is just I can't even wait to see what tomorrow's going to bring. What's tomorrow going to bring? Anybody want to take a guess? I don't know. At this point, they're lining up Cam Jordan to be the starting quarterback. Is that what's going to happen? They're trading the next 7 drafts to go up to 1 to get Cam Ward. Is that what we're going to do? Cam Ward or Cam Jordan? They're going to battle it out for starting quarterback. Might as well be. Who knows with this organization where they are right now? CFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to gordonsgrads.com. Got a little more than a week, y'all. gordonsgrads.com. gordonsgrads.com. Gordon does this every year around graduation time. Another way he gives back to the community. Love this. Gives away iPads or MacBooks, laptops to graduating high school seniors. So if you have a graduating high school senior in your family or know someone, make sure they're aware of this. Go to gordonsgrads.com. You can see all the rules of how you can enter. And if you're chosen, you'll win a free MacBook. Courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Just another way that Gordon gives back during all the seasons of the year. If it's the bicycle giveaway during Christmas, obviously the MacBook giveaway here during graduation season. So many different charitable endeavors he does. Gordon always says it. Community's given him so much. This is his way of giving back. So learn more at gordonsgrads.com. That's gordonsgrads.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the 2025 Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The following local businesses have also pledged to match your donations throughout the month: Lewis Mechanical, Patient Plus, Action Industries, Subaru of Baton Rouge, Service Chevrolet, Luba, and Duplessis Pool Builders. Visit 1045ESPN.com to help us reach our goal, and together we can make dreams come true.
Apparently, there's not much of a market for Nico Iamaleava. One GM at a Power 4 school told ESPN.com, quote, "I think he has zero market. It will be an interesting test of how smart and disciplined colleges are in looking at him." That's fascinating. Zero market is that's a mouthful. Saying like apparently Nico and his family group, according to ESPN, they're seeking, I'm reading this directly, much more through the portal than the $4 million they hope to earn with the Vols this year. So they wanted even more than $4 million in the portal, And here's a power forward GM saying he's got no market right now. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. Stay tuned. I mean, you got quarterback-needy teams, but this may be one of those very seminal moments in the portal NIL era where there is like just a fork in the road. And it's like lines are drawn, and on this side of the line, players don't hold schools hostage. We'll see how all this plays out, but that's the latest there. Notre Dame, USC, North Carolina, Central Florida. According to the report, none of those schools have expressed interest in Nico. I mean, dude took a gamble, and I can respect someone taking a gamble in life. And sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. But this one might have been ill thought out to take that gamble before knowing what was behind door number 2. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Love telling you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, ReliefWindows.com. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Remember, energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They'll make your home more energy efficient, beautify the exterior. You know, we talk about that hardy plank and vinyl siding. Comes finished in whatever color you want, and then you are done forever. It'll make your home fire-resistant, energy-efficient, easier to clean. It's not going to chip, crack, peel. To clean it, you just spray it down. Way to beautify the exterior of your home. Learn more at ReliefWindows.com or give them a call at 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows or ReliefWindows.com. All right, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Defensive line coach Jimmy Brumbaugh joining the Georgia staff. Brumbaugh spent the last 2 seasons at Coastal Carolina. He's a former Auburn defensive lineman, got 6 years of experience coaching defensive lines in the SEC.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Former Cal running back Jay Knott is transferring to OU. He's one of the top playmakers in the portal. Over 3,400 all-purpose yards the last 3 seasons. 1 season of eligibility remaining. Sooners also signing former Stanford offensive lineman Jake Maikula.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Clemson defensive back to Boy Fagan is transferring to Ole Miss. Played 11 snaps in 2 games last season, taking a red shirt. So he'll have 4 years of eligibility remaining. Former 4-star, he was the number 28 corner in the country back in 2024 when he picked Clemson over Florida State and Alabama.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Earlier enrollee freshman Quentin Murphy has entered the transfer portal. How about that? Hitting the portal before he ever plays a game at Arkansas. He's out of Little Rock. So assigned in December, went through spring practice, now in the transfer portal. He's the number 5 player in the state of Arkansas, and he chose the Razorbacks over a long list of heavy hitters: Bama, Georgia, OU, Ole Miss, Tennessee. We'll see where he lands.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And JUCO signee Mason Clinton has entered the transfer portal. Signed with Mississippi State in December, enrolled for spring classes, was expected to compete along the defensive line, but now will move on and find a new spot in his college career. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Hump Day shows brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Remember, lowest prices, never any contracts. You can learn more online at yourgoodwood.com. It's hormone replacement therapy. Yes, they do ED treatments as well. Even things like peptides. If you've heard of BPC 157, that's something I just started taking this week. I'm very excited about. I've done a ton of research. Y'all know I have chronic back pain. I've talked about that a bunch. And this is something that could very well help and aid in recovery. So if you're having injuries, maybe chronic ailments, something to think about, something to talk with them about. It's all about feeling your best. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. Taylor Calandro, when we come back, we'll do a little bourbon dictionary, so stick around for that. Scott Shanle in 17 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Renaissance and the Watermark. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, if with Easter this weekend, you got family coming in town, maybe a late trip, have them check out Watermark or Renaissance, 2 of Baton Rouge's premier hotel properties. In Watermark Downtown, the Renaissance Southtown on Bluebonnet. Renaissance, gorgeous, sprawling hotel with over 13,000 square feet of meeting space. So if you want to stay at the Renaissance, you can, right there off of Bluebonnet, on Bluebonnet, right off the interstate. Super convenient to everything in Baton Rouge, across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row. And remember also, of course, the Watermark Downtown. Graduation is coming next month for high schools, for LSU. So if you have family coming into the for graduation, Watermark is awesome. You could stay at Watermark, very convenient to LSU to stay at graduation, convenient for Southern if they're going north of downtown for graduation, or any of the high school graduations that are going to be there at the River Center downtown. Great spot to stay is Watermark Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
All right, get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Taylor's here. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
I'd be doing way better if the Saints weren't my favorite football team, but let's not talk about that. What's new?
Saints are a dumpster fire.
See, told you. It's just too cliche. Everybody says it. I was saying in the last segment, I need to come up with something better. Everybody says dumpster fire, and I get why. It's great imagery, but it's so cliche. Everybody says it. You could be talking about like a bitty. No, I know you did, but that's why it's appropriate. Like everybody says it, so it's like I got to come up with something new and better because everybody says. Like you could be talking about a bitty ball basketball team. You'll go, they're a dumpster fire. Like, I mean, it just. I got to come up with something better because everybody says.
Dude, they're living off of 2009 still. So
too long ago, man.
Way too long ago. What's new? So we got something coming tomorrow. I think it's coming tomorrow, Friday. That's like totally new. It's from Mockler. It's New Belgium Light Strike. It's coconut water and sea salt. I think it's malt based. They weren't sure, but it's 5%, and it looks like a sports drink bottle almost. It comes in a 4-pack. And it's 5% coconut water, sea salt, 5% ABV. It's something I have no idea what's going to taste like. Everything I've read said it tastes good. I think they're going to try to go after, like, the active market.
Yeah, you're hydrating while drinking.
Yeah.
sea salt and coconut water. Get that hydration while you dehydrate yourself with alcohol.
Yeah, rarely do I, like, now these days. It's like, because sometimes I lay in bed at night thinking about what could I come up with alcohol-wise that's new, and this is something that's totally new and different. So that's why they pay these companies millions of dollars for consulting and stuff. But, also, so that'll be tomorrow or Friday. I think we'll get it tomorrow, though. We also have some on the shelf currently. I don't know how long it's going to last. Some Old Forester 1924 10-year.
Okay.
Which is $130 and $130, and some Eagle Rare, which I think is $48. Those are both 10-year too. The 1924 was in our raffle this past raffle, so there was a few bottles when I left. So They may be there, they may not. I don't know.
Maybe a bottle that wasn't claimed, or it came in.
No. This is stuff that came.
Okay.
Within the last month.
Okay.
No, we just got a fresh shipment of it.
Love that.
Just trying to spike a little bit of business.
Sure. Chandler said the Saints are a hot July porta potty in the sun that's not been cleaned since last fall.
If you didn't completely give up when they signed Derek Carr, then you're the problem.
I might have been the only person that covers this team on a regular basis that implored this organization not to sign Derek Carr, screaming, shouting about it. And the day they cut him, or he is officially done, I cannot wait to go dig up that show and play that soundbite and blast it everywhere and read every comment of everybody who crapped on me at that time. I may spend a full 3-hour show just reading all of those comments and calling out every one of those people by name. That may be a full show.
As a casual sport observer, I'm not a sports writer or anything like that. I sell booze. If you're still checking the ball down after 11, 12, 13 years in the league on a consistent basis, you might be in over your head a little bit.
I don't know. Like checkdowns are okay. Sometimes you gotta take the safe play. I'm not going to go exclusively with that.
He is just not. He looks like a rookie quarterback. Anyway,
back to booze. No, you're good. Get your questions in for Taylor. Email us, tweet us, text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Jason said, "Ask Taylor any word on how or if the flooded Buffalo Trace distillery will affect the market." I know I asked you about that last week. Any update?
Yeah. So actually, I just read something about that a little while ago. I was just perusing the news. So a couple of their bottling facilities actually got affected by the flood, but I think they're up and running. From what I read, they're like 75% up. The Blanton's bottling plant wherever they bottle the Blantons there also got flooded, but there was another bottling facility too. But I think those are up and running. It said they're already 75% back.
Good.
That company's got a lot of money, man. So I'd imagine it get going pretty soon. I've gotten asked that a few times over the last week since the flood or whatever, week and a half. Buffalo Trace is not plentiful as it is. I don't expect a huge disruption in the little that we get.
Okay, so that's good to know. Craig said, ask Taylor, what's the go-to hydration drink after a hangover?
I just like water. Is that a real question?
That's a good answer. It's a good enough answer. I drink
H2O.
H2O is great. Might I recommend Evermore, a natural artesian product. It is a better form of hydration. And one thing that I do, I actually have a hydrogen water bottle. So I take my Evermore, I pour it into my hydrogen water bottle, and then you push the button and it infuses the water with hydrogen ions. So that's something.
Oh my God, I've been seeing this hydrogen thing going now like for the past 2 weeks. What is going on?
I've been doing it for more than a year. So when I started my whole life change, I'll tell you actually better than that even, and I love Evermore, and I would highly recommend you should stay hydrated, but cold plunging is the best thing you could possibly do.
You told me that, and I got one a few months ago, and I love it.
It's amazing. If you've had a night of drinking and you're a little foggy, get in cold water and watch how your entire physiology changes. The flood of oxygen into your brain that awakens and alerts everything is stunning. I mean, it's the one biohack out of all the things I've done in the last year that I tell you I will never ever ever stop doing.
And anybody can do it, really. You don't even need a plunge.
If you don't, get in a cold shower.
Speaking of, how much time's left? I don't want to get into
about 60 seconds.
Okay. Speaking of cold plunge, are you familiar with the morning routine video with that guy?
Yeah. Well, I guess you're talking about Gary Brecka?
No, the morning routine, Ashton Hall. It's the black guy that's muscular.
Oh, no.
All right, well, we're getting Saratoga water tomorrow, too. The young folks will understand. This video's got like 3 billion views on TikTok or something.
That explains why I haven't seen it. Clayton Knight, does Taylor does Taylor have an opinion on Bardstown weeded, or do you have any?
I don't think we have the weeded currently. I generally like Bardstown across the board, and I like weeded bourbon, so yeah.
Lane asked Taylor, what's a good everyday drinker, bourbon or whiskey? Well, bourbon is whiskey. That's probably something we should explain as well. Bourbon is a kind of whiskey. Whiskey's the big category. And there's bourbon, and then there's Scotch, and there's Irish whiskey, and there's rye whiskey, and there's Japanese whiskey. But whiskey's the big category. Anyway, go ahead.
Taiwanese, Indian. Everyday drinker, Elijah Craig. I love Elijah Craig, $35, $40. Yep. Knob Creek, I love Knob Creek too. Four Roses Small Batch Selects, about $50, $60. All those are good.
Yep, you don't have to spend a lot to get great whiskey. Taylor Calandro from Calandro's. Thank you, dude.
See you, Matt.
We'll see you. It's After Further Review presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. When I got a quick break, Scott Shanle played a long time in the NFL. We'll ask him his thoughts on the whole Derek Carr saga. That's next here at AFR.
AFR.
We are brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Set up that consultation. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson over at the Williamson Eye Center. Y'all, I cannot stress this enough, the importance of the consultation. This is not a sales pitch. I think a lot of people sometimes might be hesitant. They think, I don't want to just be sold or pitched on something. The consult is not a sales pitch. It's just giving you the options, and they do not charge for it. There's no catch. They can even do this virtually. So if you want to do this in your car on the way to or from work, at your office, home, anywhere, I mean, it's maximum 30 minutes. Probably won't even take that long. It's a great way just to get what options are there for you. Y'all, if you're worried about the ability to pay, they have financing 24 months with 0% deferred interest. They even have a cost calculator on the site where you learn the lifetime spent on contacts, glasses, supplies, as opposed to refractive surgery. Do your homework. The Williamson Eye Center.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded. because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedic.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. NBA play-in tournament tonight. Single elimination begins with Heat Bulls, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. Winner meets Atlanta Friday for 8th in the East. Then it's Mavericks Kings. The defining aspect of that game will involve the latest Anthony Davis-Domantas Sabonis matchup. ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
Sabonis won the first 10 times they went head-to-head. 10 times. A lot of those when AD was playing for the Lakers and the Kings were not a strong team all those years. Now AD has won the last 4. But now it's a whole different look with the Kings having made midseason moves and AD now with Dallas.
Winner of that game will meet Memphis Friday for 8th in the West. Duke freshman Con Canepa will enter June's NBA draft. He's the number 8 prospect in ESPN's draft projections. Former Heisman Trophy winner and first-round NBA draft pick Charlie Ward set to become the men's basketball coach at Florida A&M. Baseball, Dodgers lefty Clayton Kershaw threw 3 innings in his first rehab start for AAA Oklahoma City today. He's been out with a left meniscus tear and toe issue. He's eligible to return to the majors May 17th.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday. There's a lot of chatter about all these quarterbacks not named Shador. I'll tell you why these teams better not fool themselves into overdrafting the wrong guy. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Miusu. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Transfer portal opens officially today, Wednesday. We'll let you hear from Brian Kelly on that and what LSU might be looking to do in this portal window. What a time, what a week, what a 5-day period it's been for the New Orleans Saints. Always appreciate getting Scott Shanley's perspective. Super Bowl champion, guy who played for this organization, has covered the organization, working with CST and Your View, and is good enough to hang out with us here for a couple of minutes. Scott, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing good.
Hey, man, if I asked you big picture, your take on the last 5 days, the drama, saga, whatever adjective you want to use, about Derek Carr, just 10,000-foot view, how would you sort of summarize how you feel about it?
Well, it went from unfortunate to really frustrating. You look at the lack of success the organization has had the last few years, and I think, you can point to injuries. Wouldn't wait too many injuries. Pelicans went through the same thing, so maybe that's something they need to look at. But when it comes to there's one thing you want certainty around, and that's the head coaching position. The Saints went out and hired a new coach. The next thing is you need certainty around the quarterback position. And it's really frustrating and a little bit angering that the guys report for the off season and your starting quarterback who your owner has been loyal enough to pay $40 million a year to, doesn't show up and all of a sudden has a shoulder injury. And I think that's really frustrating.
Diana Rossini had the report, I'm sure you saw, where, and I'm paraphrasing, she effectively said the feeling around the league is that the shoulder injury is really just trade bait from Derek Carr and his side, that they want to be moved. I don't know, Scott. I mean, you've been in locker rooms and you've been around negotiations and things. Like, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I don't know. She's trusting her sources, and she's really the only one who has said that. Again, if that's true, that's frustrating. It's frustrating as a fan because you're sitting there saying, who are you mad at? Are you mad at the organization or are you mad at the player? And I think you look at it and you say, as the organization, you need to come out and say what your plan is. If the player doesn't want to be there, you get rid of him. I think it's as simple as that, especially to me. If Derek wants to be there, Derek wants to be there, and he has to play well enough to beat out a young guy because there's no doubt they're going to draft somebody, and that's just the way it goes. I mean, Packers drafted Jordan Love, and Aaron Rodgers said, hell with it. I'm going to go and win 2 MVPs. So I think that's part of the competitiveness as a player. You can't get frustrated if an organization drafts a player at your position. But I just think there needs to be a little bit more certainty. And certainly it's not, the Saints don't have to come out and say this is the plan. Yes, he's actually hurt. But I think when you stay silent for so long and you don't, player and organization, and you don't squash rumors, then those things just start to fly and then they become truth.
So how do you think Derek Carr look, in January, he said point blank, he would absolutely restructure his deal. He said his quote was absolutely, I'd do anything to help the team. Today, there's a report that Carr was maybe not happy about the restructure, that the Saints chose to go that direction. They did not need his approval to restructure his deal in March, which is the path they went. How should those conversations, Scott, or how typically would it go with player, GM, ownership, agent? Like, who's involved in those conversations? How should that have gone?
Well, there's a lot of moving pieces, especially in this case, because you hired a new head coach. So the new head coach has to say, yes, I want this guy. Or the new head coach says, I'm looking to go a different direction. But I think the other piece of the puzzle is the Saints have been in such cap hell that even if a player doesn't want to be there, and this sounds odd, even if a player doesn't want to be there, maybe you can't do anything about it because of your salary cap situation. Are you just going to eat a bunch of money and not have a guy at the quarterback position that you possibly need to play? So I think that enters into it, regardless if the player wants to be there or not. I think it's probably best for Derek and the organization, because Derek's been under a lot of fire. Listen, I like the signing. When they signed Derek, I thought he was going to be a good piece of the puzzle. I supported him as long as I could. But this stuff happening in this offseason with a new head coach, the fan base is absent at the playoffs too many years in a row. There needs to be a little bit more clarity, because I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps either party. I think the natural thing is the fan base is going to get riled up and get mad at the player, especially with some of the stuff that's going on.
Scott Shanle is with us. What about how Derek Carr has handled himself publicly? Like, as a former player, guy that's been in locker rooms, and I'm certain has a degree of understanding and empathy for any player going through any type of situation, right? I mean, there's your teammates have been in locker rooms. Like, what do you think about the way that Derek's handled it publicly?
Yeah, I get it. I know, maybe it hasn't gone the way he thought it would, because, a lot of people are excited. The life after Drew Brees, bringing in another veteran quarterback. I know this because I went through it as well. Every year off season, hey, we need to draft a linebacker. We need to upgrade the linebacker position. Then you go out and you lead the team in a playoff Super Bowl run, or you lead the team in tackles. And sometimes it just doesn't matter. Stats don't matter. People are always looking to upgrade positions. But I think it's on you as a player not to be thin-skinned, to listen to the outside noise. The only approval you need really is from those in the organization, your teammates. But I think sometimes as a player, and this is the one thing I know about New Orleans, if you love the city and you love the fan base, they'll love you back. And there's no doubt about that. It is unlike any other city But I've always said there's no other place I would have rather won a Super Bowl because nobody appreciates winning like the New Orleans Saints fan base. So I think, I don't know, is the hole dug too far to recover from it? A lot of people think so. But if you go out and win, winning cures all. Look at the first 2 weeks last year when it looked like the Saints were going to go on and win the Super Bowl. Nobody had a problem with Derek Carr. It's about winning and performing, and that's what they need to do, regardless of who the quarterback is.
He's on Twitter at Scott Shanle, former Saints linebacker. Scott Shanle spent a decade, of course, in the league. Good enough to hang out with us here for a couple of minutes. Always appreciate the perspective. So, I mean, Scott, you said it, and I think we all agree, right? They're going to bring in a young quarterback. Like, do you have a strong feeling about how that should look? Like, I mean, I don't know if you have a feeling about Shedeur at 9, if that's the thing, or just where they take a quarterback or how they manage that whole situation this offseason?
Without a doubt, it has to be a quarterback. It has to be a quarterback in the first round. Now, I'm not saying just go ahead and reach and you got a third round grade on somebody, but somebody gobbled up quarterback. Now you're just going to reach at number 9. You can't do that.
Right.
But if for some reason one of those guys with a first round grade is there, you got to do it. And for a number of years, I think this franchise got set back in the 2017, 18, 19 years when they refused to draft a quarterback. Everybody in that building thought Taysom Hill was the future franchise quarterback, which is why they never drafted Lamar Jackson or anybody during those drafts. You have to. I think the salary cap is set up to, you got to take a chance to find a franchise quarterback, and if you don't hit it on this year, you do it again next year or you do it again the year after, because there's no other position that can change the face of your franchise. Washington Commanders are proof of that. Now, are you going to get Jane Daniels type player at number 9 this year? Probably not. But I think the one thing about Shedeur Sanders, I think there's holes in his game. But it's almost like a Reggie Bush persona and superstardom coming to the New Orleans Saints, bringing some buzz. And I think that type of buzz can elevate the play of everybody in the locker room when they know all the eyeballs are now on the Saints.
If they don't, let's say, let me throw another hypothetical at you, Scott. What if Derek Carr is unavailable? Right, like the shoulder injury is legitimate. He's going to have surgery, and just hypothetically, I don't know if that's going to happen, but that was a report last week. So let's say they don't have him this year. Do you do you draft a quarterback and sign a veteran as well? And how do you approach it this year?
Absolutely, I think you have to. If Derek is injured and he really, he cannot play this year, hopefully he'll still be a part of the mentoring process, because there's a lot of things that you can get as a young player from a veteran player that a coach just can't give you. So hopefully he's around the organization. That's first and foremost. But yes, you say you draft a quarterback at number 9, you have to go out there and get another veteran quarterback. And I think that was part of the downfall of this team last year. They rolled into the season with Derek as a starting quarterback. He's our only veteran guy. You get 2 guys backing him up who, yes, you can have all the upside in the world. You can be excited about both of them. But there just was not enough experience at that position last year. So there's no question you got to go out and get a veteran if Derek's not available.
Do you have an idea of who you'd like them to add?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it is, Kellen Moore's offense and what he's looking and the type of skill set that's available on the streets as far as a veteran quarterback. And, I think there's still going to be some movement after the draft. I think some of these teams that have veteran quarterbacks, starters, or backups, they're going to get somebody that they didn't expect to get during the draft, and there's going to be some roster movement, some releases coming up after the draft. So some of these teams are just going to hold tight because there's going to be some available veteran quarterbacks coming up.
Yeah. It's a sticky situation, no doubt. Scott Shanle, former Saint linebacker, good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. He's on Twitter at Scott Shanle. Y'all give him a follow. Man, we always appreciate the time. Thanks for taking a few minutes, okay?
Yep, no problem.
That is Scott Shanle. It's After Further Review. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I can appreciate the candor. I mean, Scott used a word like it started as unfortunate and it's become frustrating, even angering. We wanted to reach out to Scott because he, on Twitter yesterday, whenever that story broke, he didn't really mince words. Man. His tweet was my 2 cents. I'll read it for you. My 2 cents about Derek Carr's shoulder injury news. If he's pouting because the Saints are going to look for a young quarterback in the draft, he's too thin-skinned to be your quarterback, and the guys in that locker room deserve better. A competitive person would say it's time to play so well, the young guy won't touch the field anyways. Nothing is promised to anyone in the NFL. Everyone's time comes to an end. Nobody's owed anything. If really injured, should be at facility and surrounded by surgery specialists today. Mrs. Benson didn't pay you $40 million a year to do car reviews on YouTube. Tough times will always reveal a man's character. You know what Scott alluded to there and in what he talked about with us? Every year, and the Saints traded for Scott Shanle from Dallas in Peyton's first year. And every year, they brought in linebackers to beat out Scott Shanle and Mark Simoneau. Every year. And every year, those dudes kept throwing them out the boat. Go compete and win. So I can understand why Scott Shanle takes exception with where Derek Carr is coming from, because he lived that reality and was better for it. All right, it's after further review. So I got a quick break. Brian Kelly on the transfer portal, which opened today next. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, title sponsor of our Hump Day shows all throughout the year. You can visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Starts with a simple blood test. I went last week to my blood labs. Would highly recommend, I'd highly recommend we all do blood labs twice a year anyway. Regardless of if you're on hormone therapy or anything. It's just good to have a map of what's happening internally in you. It's doing blood work is a great way to find if you have things going on, small issues that could become, bigger issues, telltales. It's a great way to stay ahead of your health. But anyway, the point is, you can learn what your hormone level, your testosterone levels are before you leave the office. And they can start you on a treatment plan that's affordable, that'll help you feeling like your younger self. If you want to learn more, visit yourgoodwood.com. Yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Oh, we'll head to Norman in about 11 minutes. Our buddy Eddie Radosevich will be here. We'll do our SEC spring recap looking at the Sooners. Big change at quarterback. I mean, they went all in on Jackson Arnold a year ago. They came up snake eyes, so how do they move on? They bring in another transfer. We'll talk about that with Eddie here in about 11 minutes from right now. Spring portal window opens here on Wednesday. Brian Kelly met with reporters for the final time in spring Tuesday after practice and was asked about the approach in the transfer portal. Here's what he said.
I like our roster right now. It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't have anybody in the portal, either leaving our program or adding. If you ask me right now, I would be happy to take this roster right into May. Maybe that's fool's gold. Maybe that's wishing more than anything else. But I like what we've done with this roster. I like the development of it. Not all of that is in my control, obviously, but I can tell you we're not like actively saying we got to have this, we got to have that. If something shows itself that is an incredible opportunity, we're certainly going to investigate any time that we can help our football team. And so we're always going to be looking to help our team.
So there's a couple of things that surprised me there. Most notably is when he said that he wouldn't be surprised if there was no movement coming or going. Now, I could see very clearly a path where LSU does not add anyone for reasons we'll get to in a second. I will be, however, surprised if nobody leaves. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with Brian Kelly or the program or their direction or anything. It's just the nature of college football, not just at LSU, but quite literally everywhere. Everybody has players leave. It doesn't matter if you're Bama or Georgia or Texas or Ohio State or Michigan or Southern Cal. It just doesn't matter who you are. Everybody has guys leave because you can. And so when you go into this portal window after spring, keep in mind what's changed from the December portal window to now. You have guys on the roster that went through the 2024 season thinking, okay, spring's going to be my chance to take a step up. And then LSU goes and signs 16 guys in the transfer portal in December. You go through spring and all of a sudden you look up and you go, okay, well, if you're on, you thought maybe you were going to be on the 2 deep on the offensive line pushing for a starting job. And then here comes Braylon Moore and here comes Josh Thompson. And now you're running with the 3s. Or you look at the cornerback spot. And again, I'm not naming names because I don't know. I would tell you candidly if I did. I don't know names. I can just see scenarios where LSU was very intentional, that they went and added players and how it may push some young veterans down the depth chart. You went and added, obviously, Mansour Delane at one cornerback, Jakeem Jackson, another corner you brought in, DJ Pickett's an early enrollee. I could see how some young cornerbacks are looking around going, man, my path to the field just got a whole lot murkier. And look, Mansour Delane, I would be stunned if he's not starting the first defensive snap against Clemson at one boundary corner. He's the best guy you got. Like, you don't have to know a ton about football or scouting. You can go out there and go, oh, the tall, long, thickly built dude with good hips who can flip and turn, run, ball skills. Oh, yeah, like, he looks the part. He'll be on one side. I don't know who'll be on the other side. Ashton Stamps, is it Jakeem Jackson? Does DJ Pickett get run? PJ Woodland had a really nice freshman season last year. I don't know. So you could look at those spots. You could look at defensive end where you went and added 3 guys, and you didn't add 3 guys just to get you some depth. You added 3 guys to come in and be immediate starting impact dudes. I mean, Jack Pyburn's a 3-year player going to his 4th year. Patrick Payton's been playing for 4 years. Jamari Butler is a super senior coming in from Nebraska. All those dudes were brought into play immediately. So some young guys at that position may go, man, I got to sit here and watch and wait another year. Like, I could see a world where you're not anticipating those guys leaving, but because of what transpired in the December portal window and how you saw the rotation go in spring football, I could see guys leave. Again, it's not to say that they're unhappy or anything. It's just how college football works. Guys are going to leave. So I do think you'll see that. And remember, a year ago, you had 8 players leave in the spring portal window. I mean, Brian Kelly was very intentional last year. It was a must. They had to add people at defensive tackle. They added JVR Suggs. They went and added a punter with Blake Oxendorf last year. But remember, you had 8 guys leave after spring football. Kai Preen, Ryan Yates, Fitzgerald West, John Emery, Christian Braithwaite, Bryce Langston, Jeremiah Hughes, Joe Cryer, Connor Gilbreth. All those guys left after spring football last year. So, John Emery ended up coming back after the Trey Holly situation. But point being, you can see, like, Preen was buried on the receiver depth chart. Yates and Hughes were buried in the defensive backfield. So, like, it makes a little, Joe Cryer on the offensive line. It makes a little sense. I'll tell you, there's probably 3 wants. If you break it down into wants, needs, musts, there are no needs or musts. Brian Kelly very appropriately said, like, he would take this roster into May and June, July, and August. Like, he would. They added 16 guys via the portal. They added one of the top high school classes in the country. You got a bunch of mid-years here with Carius Kern and DJ Pickett, Harlem Berry, dudes that are going to be impactful guys as freshmen. And then you can look to who's coming in the fall as well with the rest of that class. Like, yeah, your roster should be able to compete as is. But I would tell you there's 3 wants. Like, if the right person is in the portal, it's not like you're going hunting, but if the right person goes into the portal, you'd get them. And the most notable would be a defensive tackle, not just a body, because you got 9 scholarship defensive tackles. You got Jacoby and Guillory coming back for a 6th year. The 2 freshmen from this year that are stepping up, Ahmad Bro and Don McKinley, they looked really good this spring. Like, they look like they're ready to take a step forward. You brought in Sadir Mitchell. You got Sean Washington back. You got 4 true freshmen coming in. A couple of those guys participated in spring football. So you got bodies. You got 9 interior defensive tackles is plenty. What you don't have is someone who's been a proven starter. Like, the guy with the most experience is Jacoby and Guillory. He started 5 games in his career. He's played 40, but he started 5. So if you got a guy that's been a 2-year starter at a Power 4 school, started 20-plus games, goes into the portal, yes. Okay, come on. Yes, that's one you're interested in. I think safety is an interesting spot. Another spot where you have numbers, you don't have great experience. TaMarcus Cooley, who you brought into the portal, has experience, and I think is going to be a starter. And you got Jordan Gilbert, again, who didn't participate in spring. And Jordan, I think by everyone's understanding, was not very good last year, but he also played the entire season with one arm. I mean, he had a bum shoulder that kept popping out of socket, so he's playing safety in the SEC with one arm. That's unenviable. Had the surgery, get healthy, get right. I think Jordan Gilbert can be a good player. Gilbert Cooley could be great. And then you've got young guys like Toviano and Spears and Joel Rogers. So, yes, I think that can look good at safety. But if you got a 30-game starter from a Power 4 school that's an all-conference caliber player that goes in the portal and is interested, you take that call. And lastly, I would tell you is offensive tackle. Maybe the most encouraging thing out of this spring is that as much rotation as we saw with the LSU offensive line, and it's one of the things we talked about a lot. I mean, every single time we did a practice report, I was out there at the spring scrimmage on Saturday, always looked at the offensive line and how they were shuffling. But mostly with the ones where the rotation was on the interior. I mean, I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but I'm fairly certain every time we looked at the ones, especially in the second half of spring, Tyree Adams was your left tackle, Wesson Davis was your right tackle. I think early in spring, maybe Bo Bordelon was taking some reps with the ones at right tackle. But where we saw the rotation was Chester and Braylon Moore at center. Paul Mabenga, Josh Thompson at left guard. DJ Chester, Cohen Eccles at right guard. Like, that's where we saw the rotation. And I think it is paramount that Adams and Davis win those starting tackle jobs and prove to be very good SEC caliber starting tackles. It's not going to be Will Campbell, Emory Jones. at least not immediately. But if those dudes lock down their spots, that's massive for this offense because I believe Braylon Moore is going to be your starting center and is an all-conference caliber center. And I believe Josh Thompson's going to start at one of the guard spots. And so now you got 3 other dudes vying for a starting guard spot that could be a rotation, could be depth. Like, you're going to be in a really good spot. But it all hinges upon those tackles winning their jobs and being really good. Because if they're not, then you probably have to kick Josh Thompson out to play tackle. That means you're then probably playing Paul Mabeng at left guard. And so everybody is just not in their preferred spot. And so you have that domino effect, kind of like what happened when Garrett Dellinger was injured and you had to put Paul Mabenga in. So tackle could be a spot that they look at if the right guy is there. But the ideal situation really is have the guys that you have there really just put a stranglehold on those jobs. It's a 10-day portal window. Again, not expecting LSU to be an active buyer. But if the right player at the right position is there, I do think they'll take him. But I think those are the positions you're looking at. Defensive tackle, maybe a safety, maybe an offensive tackle. Again, if the right person jumps in the portal. I think the bigger, the more likely movement is going to come with guys leaving the program, and that'll give you a much better sense of what your 85 will look like when you hit fall camp in August. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by our friends over at Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. They'll come by, spray that patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. If you have odor, have mold in your house, maybe at your office building there's been a sickness going around, great way to knock that out. Have Parish come in, they'll spray. It'll kill dozens of harmful pathogens, and it's totally safe for people and for plants and for pets, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, a non-toxic dry fog treatment. It's more effective, it's more cost-effective, it's more efficient. It's Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, we're glad you're hanging out with us here halfway home on this Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. When we come back, we'll head up to Norman, Oklahoma. Our buddy Eddie Radosevich will jump aboard with us. We'll do our spring recap looking at the Sooners. Have a big turnaround and turnover there at the quarterback position. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
You know, if I go right now into our live stream on audio or on YouTube on video, I can see a heat map of where people listen or watch. I can look at our download numbers on podcast and on YouTube and everything, all these platforms, our Listen Live app and everything. And what always strikes me is how we have people not only all over the state, but all over the country and all over the world that listen and watch and consume our stuff. Because the truth is you have LSU and Saints fans all over the world. People who transplant for their job or maybe you're in the military, whatever the case may be. I say all of that because it doesn't matter where you're listening or watching. If in your business you're struggling to find the right people to make your business the most efficient and profitable it can be, you need Glow Resources. They've got offices in Baton Rouge and New Orleans, but Miami and Orlando and Houston and the Golden Triangle and everywhere. Learn more. GlowResources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. The SEC Spring Recap on After Further Review. The Oklahoma Sooners.
Not the kind of year they're used to in Norman, so what do they do for a bounce back? Eddie Radosevich, Sooner Scoop, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. How are you, dude?
Matt, what's going on? How we doing? Hey, the weather is nice here today. I want to point that out. It was terrible the last time that we talked.
Yes, last time we talked was on the eve of LSU and Oklahoma's baseball series, and it was like 40 degrees and raining, and for that reason you should be ostracized and excommunicated from the SEC. You should go play probably in the Big Ten or something like that. The MAC. Maybe Ohio U could move over and you guys can join the MAC. How about that, Eddie?
I've been known to play a couple parlay cards on a Tuesday night, so that wouldn't. I know a little too much about the MAC.
I'm not even mad at you for that. Hey, you also in your Twitter photo, your X photo, you got a Masters hat on. Are you a big Masters guy?
Love the Masters. I don't think there's anything better, and I think we are on the heels of. I have a Tiger division and then a non-Tiger division. This is right up there with some of my best memories from Augusta National. I thought Sunday was absolutely incredible. I think it's the last time that I watched a sporting event that I was like, my stomach hurt. I was a little anxious. I was nervous. It was awesome. It delivered. I was so happy for Rory, and pretty cool. It was a pretty cool scene at Augusta National on Sunday.
What if I told you the first stroke of the Masters that I watched this year was Rory missing that putt on 18?
Oh no!
On Sunday.
Well, you got your fill. You got at least 4 more shots or 3 more shots in with the shots that he hit in the playoff. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't really watch the playoff hole. I just kind of came back.
Oh, just that.
Yeah, well, I saw that, and then I kind of walked away, and then I came back, and then I saw a shot that went inside of Justin Rose's ball, and then he made his putt, and then fell down and cried. I was like, oh look, Rory won, and then I went on living my life.
There was a little bit of things that happened in between, but
cool.
You got the gist of it. It was an awesome ending.
This is our Oklahoma spring recap here, where we talk about the Masters with weather with Eddie Radosevich, and the photo we're now using. Paul, why did we change the photo? The one we had used to be the one where you were like bug-eyed, looking like a psychopath. Now this looks like a Step Brothers photo.
Way too professional, in my opinion.
Who did this? Like, is this a headshot? Where do you know where? So it's a red background. You're wearing a plaid shirt and a jacket, like a sports coat.
I think it's an on-3 operation. I think I had to have like an official look, but everybody knows.
Paul, why did you change this? Why did you change this, Paul? Speak up. Defend yourself.
Just to freshen it up a little bit.
That's absurd. He had the greatest photo of anybody on the show.
I can change it back.
Yeah, change it back. Eddie, do you?
Please.
Change it back to the bug-eyed photo. What are we talking about here? I could at least laugh at that. This looks like the Step Brothers photo. It does. You're the third Step Brother with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yeah, I was waiting outside the office when they went in for the dual interview.
Hey, Miss Lady. That's so good. Yeah, you're Muso's favorite guest in the world now. You're probably his favorite person in the world. All right, at Eddie_Rado, and I knew this from the first time we ever talked to Eddie, and he talked about beating up Vanderbilt, like beating up somebody in prison the first day, that it was going to go this way. I love it. It's so good. Okay, you were really candid last summer at Media Days when we spoke about kind kind of running off Dylan Gabriel to turn the reins over to Jackson Arnold, and that didn't go great. So
terrible.
They're moving on again. Now through spring, how do we anticipate this change has gone?
Oh God, we're right back to where we were a year ago, it seems like. But I think that, combined with Ben Arbuckle and just having an overall kind of veteran guy in John Mateer, he has really kind of come in and he's impressed people. And I think there was a reason why he was one of the top quarterbacks coming out of the portal this last cycle. And he's done really well. And I think that just what we've heard from practice and just kind of the way that he's stepped in, there's a lot of he's not going to be Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's going to win the Heisman Trophy next year. But he has come in, and I think he has a certain aura about him that has, I think, rubbed his teammates in a proper way. And I think that there's an excitement around an OU offense that a year ago was simply one of the worst offenses Oklahoma's put on the football field in modern history. I mean, you guys got a good look at it in Baton Rouge last year, inept at times. And I think that, obviously they had some offensive line issues. That kind of spiraled into Jackson Arnold losing confidence, and then you kind of saw what you got. He got benched in the Tennessee game and really had the ups and downs throughout the entire season. So I think a fresh start for everybody involved was probably a step in the right direction. But, as excited as people are about John Mateer, I think that if you really talk to the people inside the building, they're really excited about Ben Arbuckle and what he's bringing from Washington State. So I think that, like, everything that we have said here, even through spring, a lot of OU fans are taking a wait-and-see approach, and rightfully so. They were hurt last year by, kind of, I think, the buzz that surrounded Jackson Arnold and Seth Luttrell taking over for Jeff Levy. But at the same time, I think that they are definitely positioned a lot better, certainly on the offensive line and that quarterback, where it's ultimately the most important position on the field on the offensive side. So very excited about that. It's going to be kind of interesting to see what they're able to do in the transfer portal here over the next couple of days. Picking up Jaden Ott yesterday, though, the running back from Cal, there are people that are extremely excited about him, including Oklahoma's general manager, Jim Nagy.
Jim Nagy. How's that going?
Pretty good. If he keeps bringing in guys like Jaden Ott, he might be able to run for governor here in 2026 in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, we love Jim. He's great to us for a lot of years. Thanks for Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp, by the way. They're both.
How's my boy Bauer Sharp doing? He caught a lot of hell from Oklahoma fans.
Why?
And I think that they're going to be unpleasantly surprised when he's a player inside the Tigers offense.
Why did he catch hell there?
I think everybody thought he sucked. And it was one of those deals that they weren't using him correctly, in my opinion. They were trying to have him block on the edge, and Bauer Sharp isn't much of a blocker. And he did develop. He did get better. But I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are going to remember the interception that he threw down in Baton Rouge last year. That's kind of the lasting impression. But he's going to have a good year as long as he can be used correctly. And I think that that kind of goes back to the Ben Arbuckle stuff. It was tumultuous on the offensive side of the ball last year. And I think just having a vision for what they want to be able to do is going to get this thing moving in the right direction.
Yeah, man. He looks really good in this offense.
Good.
Mason Taylor, out. Mason Taylor! And enter Bauer Sharp. I mean, he's probably a 40 or 50 catch guy in this offense. Really, he's going to have a big role. Okay, a couple more. And Eddie Radosevich is with us, Soonerscoop.com. So you mentioned portal. They added Ott, the running back from Cal. Needs. What are the biggest needs that they have to address in this portal window?
Ironically, let's just start with tight end. Tight end is definitely a position that, I think Oklahoma fans, if you were to poll everybody, get a good majority of people, I think that they would say that Joe John Finley should have been fired a couple years ago because of the lack of progress, the lack of contribution the tight end position has made. They're certainly looking for another body. They brought in 3 tight ends over the course of last winter through the transfer portal. Will Huggins is actually a guy that really turned some heads, and I think it probably comes as a little bit of a surprise coming from Pittsburgh State. Carson Kent and John Locke came in. They still, there's a kid named Caden Helms that they feel like is pretty good. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And I think that, there's a number of guys on the Oklahoma football team right now that if you can't stay healthy, there's not much they can do for you. So tight end's a position definitely that they're looking at. Wide receivers a position that they're certainly looking at. The Giovanni Gibson injury, a kid that they brought in from Arkansas Pine Bluff that had really kind of made waves. He's maybe one of the bigger names that was coming out of Oklahoma's spring practice. He broke his leg on the third to last practice, got rolled up on. So he's obviously going to be out this summer, and they expect him to get back at some point in the beginning of the season. I think that expectations probably should be tempered on how quickly he can come back from that. He had surgery about a week ago. If they could get him back during the middle of September, I think that'd probably be the best case for him. But wide receiver certainly someone or a position that they're looking at. Xavier Lloyd's a kid that his name's become a little bit popular around here. He's an Illinois State kid that put up 66 receptions, had just under 1,000 yards last year. So wide receiver certainly a position, and then kicker. I think not to say that they don't have a kicker. I think they're looking for a little bit more consistency. They have a true freshman kid that was a 5-star. Chris Taylor kid coming in, but I think that they want to bring in somebody else to have a little bit more competition. So those are kind of the three positions of real need. They got Jake McKylou yesterday from Stanford. He's going to come in and add a little bit of depth in the interior offensive line. And they feel like, as bad as the offensive line was a year ago, they were thrown into a position because they were so young. And they had to kind of go trial by fire, I guess, just being thrown into the mix. And those guys did get better. Heath Ozida, Logan Howland on the left side of Oklahoma's offensive line. And they returned a couple guys, 2 5-star kids that came in, Ryan Foje, and then Michael Fasusi, who's, the offensive line group just as a whole, probably the 4 guys that he signed in this last recruiting class, probably the most heralded offensive line group that Oklahoma's possibly ever brought in. So there's a lot of high expectations. And Fasusi and Foje are both guys that I wouldn't be shocked at all if they're starting by middle of the season. So it feels like it's headed in the right direction. And a lot of what Oklahoma does offensively this next season is going to be predicated upon how well those guys play up front in 2025.
One word: over, under 6.5.
Oh, God.
That's 2 words.
I'm going to say,
and not even one of the ones I asked you for.
Over.
That's 3 words, 4 words.
It's the same word, though. So
but it's still 4 words, kind of. Eddie
If
Radosevich.
I was at Harrah's, I'd take the over. How about that?
He's on Twitter at Eddie_Rado. Optimism abounds in April for everyone.
Oh,
and by the way, I don't know if you
already.
know, LSU's going undefeated winning the Natty. They've already got the parade planned.
Oklahoma fans, and I'll probably be telling you the same once we meet again in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. But the buzz is getting strong, and if they have a good portal class, I think it's going to spill over into everybody shouting over by the time we reconvene in middle of July.
See you in a couple months, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, anytime.
Later, bud. It's Eddie Radosevich. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. It's almost graduation time, so maybe you're a college graduate, going to be buying a car. Remember, they have a $500 bonus for college graduates who are buying that vehicle. Or maybe you're a parent buying for the high school or college graduate in your family, and you want something that's affordable and safe, and they want something that's stylish and fun to drive. Perfect. Go by South Point Volkswagen. They're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Better inventory, better deals, great people, convenient right there. Airline just north of Highland. Even if you live outside of Baton Rouge, it's worth taking the drive. They can get you a better deal. Just give them a shout. southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all, it is a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We're not going to break. Musil do Tigers and the pros. We will update. Brian Kelly raved about the freshman early enrollees. I'm getting to that in about 12 minutes from right now. We'll come back. Musil do Tigers and the pros. Don't you move.
After further review.
I tell you every day about Derek Duplessis and my friends over at Duplessis Builders. If you're building a pool, if you're remodeling your pool, you want your outdoor kitchen, you want the best, you want Duplessis Builders. And I've told you for a long time now about Derek's background, right? He was a mechanical engineer by trade, built a pool for his sister. First year, did 8 pools, fell in love with it, did 60 the next year, and then boom, boom, boom. Now you have one of the fastest growing pool companies. One of the things that I love about Duplessis is they don't hire a bunch of subcontractors. The crew members that come to your job site every single day for work Those are Duplessis Builders employees. You're not hiring Duplessis who then subs it out. It's their people. Derek will be there, will be present, supervising, and it's why, with the exceptional craftsmanship, you get a 10-year workmanship warranty. DuplessisBuilders.net.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Musso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Alex Bregman, my goodness. A night ago down in Tampa. 5 for 5 for the Sox, including 2 homers, a double. He drove in 4, scored twice. It's the first 5-hit game of Alex Bregman's major league career.
Increíble.
A little bit of history there. The second home run he hit went Oppo Taco, so some true power there being showed off by Breggs on Jackie Robinson Day, mind you, as well, in the bigs.
And he's not playing today.
And he's not playing today because he's flying back home to Boston for the birth of his second child.
Big week for Breggs.
Big week for Bregman, man. Did see that earlier. That's awesome. Congratulations to the Bregmans. Jake Fraley starting to heat up a little bit, maybe. 2 for 4 a night ago. Scored a run. One of the 2 was a double, his second of the season. Average up over the Mendoza line. Needed. Reds offense starting to play a little bit better as well. Kevin Gausman was on the bump against Paulie's Bravos a night ago. Got the win. He's 2-1 now. 6 innings, 2 earned, punched out 6. Real solid night there for Gausman. MLB action tonight to keep an eye on. Aaron Nola toes the rubber. For the Philadelphia Phillies, they're taking on the 12-5 Giants. Man, slow start for Nola so far. 0-3 with an ERA north of 5.
Shut up, Muse.
He needs to get it going. See if he can do that tonight on his home field. Minor league ball to get to here real quick. Trey Morgan made his AAA debut yesterday for the Durham Bulls. They were playing the Rail Riders. Big LSU presence in this game. So Morgan went 0 for 4. Paul Gervais, a teammate of Morgan, pitched the final inning, the 9th. Shutout ball, no walks, 2 punch-outs. And then Eric Raiselman was on the other side. Shutout inning to work for him. Did walk 1, but struck out 1. He's off to a great start. 2.7 ERA here in AAA. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Y'all check them out online or get by any of their 9 locations. Mother's Day is right around the bend. Graduation is next month as well. They have amazing gifts. Listen, of course, if you're buying the Forever Diamond, right, if you're going to propose, there's no better place than Lee Michaels. With the best selection, the best prices, they give you the perfect blend of selection that you'd get with a location that has 9 different stores, and, of course, the personalized customer service and the great prices. But they also have, no matter what you're looking to spend, an amazing selection. So if you need that graduation gift, the perfect gift to make mom smile on Mother's Day, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry can help. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Hour 3 after SportsCenter.
After further review.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA play-in tournament rolls on tonight with a doubleheader of winner go home 9 versus 10 games. Heat Bulls in 1 hour, ESPN Radio and ESPN. Winner meets Atlanta Friday for 8th in the East. Then it's Mavericks and Kings. ESPN Radio NBA analyst PJ Carlesimo.
If they play the way they're capable of playing, it's going to be a hell of a game. I think watching the front court matchup's going to be incredible. You got to like what Sacramento has in the backcourt, the way Levine is playing right now. DeMar DeRozan doesn't seem to get older. He just seems to be, productive year in, year out. He makes big plays down the stretch.
PJ on Freddie and Harry. Winner of Dallas Sacramento plays Memphis Friday for 8th in the West. UCLA among the schools interested in former Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava as the spring transfer portal opened up, according to ESPN's Chris Lowe, but not nearly for the money he was asking for from Tennessee, reported at least $4 million. In his return from UCL surgery, Braves righty Spencer Strider, 2 runs, 5 hits, and 5+ in a loss to the Blue Jays.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is here for all of life's needs, with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomblake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. A little bit of breaking news as today the transfer portal has officially opened, and there is an LSU Tiger that has jumped in the transfer portal officially, but something that we had expected. John Emery has entered the transfer portal. As he previously stated, he will play a 7th collegiate season, but it will not be at LSU. Tigers are set at running back, as they were a year ago. Remember, John Emery went into the spring portal last year, but ultimately and it looked like he was going to end up at UCLA, but whenever the Trey Holly situation was not yet resolved in the summer, Brian Kelly offered John Emery the opportunity to return to LSU for a 6th season, which he did, and as we all know, was injured towards ACL in practice the week after the USC game. So good luck to John Emery and wherever his new home may be. Speaking of which, also there are reports out there that I believe Colin Cowherd had it first, that Nico Iamaleava is apparently going to land at UCLA. Those are the reports out there. Cowherd first. Others have followed. No dollar amount on it. Cowherd's tweet indicated that it was not money, according to Nico's family, why he left Tennessee, but rather his displeasure with the offense. Mm-hmm. Just move on. Let that marinate. Draw your own conclusions. LSU has one more practice left in spring. Thursday, they'll be out on the Ponderosa for their final of their 15 spring practices. Brian Kelly on Tuesday after practice met with reporters, and he was asked an interesting question. And I do like open-ended questions. Sometimes a very pointed, very direct question is essential if you're trying to nail down a very direct answer. Sometimes an open-ended question is more serviceable because you'll get a little glimpse into the mind's eye of what the coach or the subject is thinking. And so Brian Kelly was asked about surprises. Is there anyone or anything that has surprised you in spring? It's a very broad, very vague question. And naturally, the first thing that pops into his mind is going to be the thing that maybe is most impactful. And here's what he said.
The understanding of how to go out and compete in practice has been outstanding for the young guys to pick it up, like the Solomon Thomases and the Carriers Kearns, the DJ Pickett's. All of our mid-year freshmen have come in and really have adapted so quickly. And I guess that's why they're mid-years, right? I mean, they're so far ahead of their freshman counterparts. Those kids have done an incredible job of really blending in and showing that they belong right away. They're going to be so far ahead coming into camp relative to being able to compete. That's been kind of a surprise to me. This is the first class that I've had at mid-semester where it's not like, that guy is so far away. It just feels like they've been here.
That's very good to hear. And, I've been out there a good bit to watch this team when I've been able. And it's very obvious to me, there's 3 players that very obviously stand out among the early enrollees, right? Guys that should be right now in the spring semester of their senior year of high school that are finishing up spring practice at LSU instead. There are 3 players, and it's not surprising because it's the 3 highest rated guys in the class. It's DJ Pickett, Harlem Berry, and Carriers Kern. Those 3, when I think, all right, what freshmen are going to have a role in the fall? It's those 3. Now, Brian Kelly by name also mentioned Solomon Thomas there, but what's interesting about Thomas is he seems to be the one who has fallen a bit on the depth chart. Early, the second unit on the offensive line, Carriers Kern was at left tackle and Solomon Thomas was at left guard. And there was a day, it was a cold morning, I remember we were out there, and I don't know if he was punished or what it was, but Solomon Thomas was like cast to a far field by himself with a GA to run drills all by himself. And I have no idea what that was about. But since then, we haven't seen Solomon Thomas really run the 2 deep. We haven't. That's not to say he hasn't. I'm saying we haven't. And the limited ability they allow us, the media, to see, and then the open practice on Saturday, that was Josh Thompson, running there at left guard, along with Paul Mabinga. So I don't know about Thomas, but Carriers Kern, from the first day that we got to go watch, has been the second string left tackle behind Tyree Adams. And if they don't go into the portal and add a tackle, I got news for you, Coach. Tyree Adams is your starter and Carriers Kern is your backup left tackle. I mean, I guess you could see a world where if something, God forbid, happened to Tyree Adams, Josh Thompson maybe kicks out and plays left tackle because he did that in the Big Ten, and then you replace him at guard maybe to get your best 5 on the field, which has been an approach. Remember, a year ago, before Tyree Adams had that freakish, unfortunate sports hernia injury warming up before the Ole Miss game. Remember that? Tyree Adams was your 6th lineman. If anybody went down, outside of center, if anybody went down, Tyree Adams was next up. Left guard, right tackle, it didn't matter. Like, he was the next guy. So maybe you're trying to develop that. I think you probably have better depth this year than you did a year ago because there could be a world where DJ Chester and Paul Mabinga, who were both starters last year for you at times, aren't starters on this team. Like if Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson end up as your starters at center in one of the guard spots, maybe Bo Bordelon or Cohen Eccles ends up being the other guard, or one of the guys I mentioned. Well, the other's a backup that can go in, plug and play if you need him. So the point is, you may not have a situation where it's like the next up at that spot. It could be a 6th man, but I could see a situation where Carriers Kern is your next guy at left tackle. And I think he will play on every blocking special teams unit, like field goal, PAT, all that stuff. Like Carriers Kern's going to play in every game. Harlem Berry, I think, is fascinating because for all the conversation we've had about LSU's offense last year, we talked a lot about Garrett Nussmeier throwing for 4,000 yards. We talked a lot about all those receivers. Of course, Kyron Lacey had a great year. C.J. Daniels and his reception and blocking ability. My goodness, Mason Taylor, greatest pass-catching tight end in the history of the program.
Mason Taylor!
We talked a lot. Caden Durham as a true freshman, averaging over 5 yards a carry, coming almost out of nowhere and doing it for half a season with dislocated toes. You know what we didn't talk a bunch about? How many passes the backs caught out of the backfield. I don't know that I see a big role for Harlem Berry like dotting the I and getting 10 carries a game. Like, I don't think that's his role this year. I mean, Caden Durham's that guy, and Caleb Jackson is your change of pace, your big thumper, right? But last year, Caden Durham caught 28 passes. Josh Williams caught 31 passes. Those two guys combined to catch 59 balls. Aaron Anderson caught 61. Kyron Lacey caught 58. Durham and Josh Williams combined for 59 receptions. Even if you assume Caden Durham replicates that, you have to replace Josh Williams, who caught 31 passes. Yo, that's amazing. Xavion Thomas, who's a receiver, caught 23. Trey Dez caught 13. That is a very impressive number that we didn't talk about or focus much on. And I think that is Harlem Berry's role as a freshman. I think he will be a great running back in time in this offense. But as a freshman, his role is, hey, Josh Williams is gone, and we threw that dude the ball 31 times. Someone's getting those reps. It's you, 22, because he is smooth and fluid. They threw him a swing pass in the spring game. It is just so he did it in 7-on-7. There's video all over. It was with the bootleggers and, with Bryce Underwood, that the team that RC coached down in Orlando. I mean, he could play receiver if he needed to, but he's the number one running back in the country. And while he's behind Durham and Jackson, the role he's going to have is catching the football. And the third is obvious. It's DJ Pickett. Listen, the most notable point of Saturday for Pickett was getting burned by Nick Anderson. And when those moments happen, look, Nick Anderson beat DJ Pickett about 4 or 5 steps, and then Michael Van Buren overthrew him. And when those moments happen, it's tough. Do you go, okay, well, that's awesome for Nick Anderson, or is that questionable for DJ Pickett? Well, Nick Anderson's awesome, y'all. He's 6'4", 219, and he averaged 21 yards a reception 2 years ago at Oklahoma. Like, let me give you some context on that, okay? I'm not going to count Chris Hilton last year because he only had 9 catches on the season, but he averaged 27 yards a catch. Among your regulars, Kyron averaged 14.9 yards per reception. Go to 2023. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Those two dudes pretty good. Can we all agree? Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, yeah, they're good. Malik averaged 17.6, Brian Thomas 17.3. Nick Anderson, 21 yards per reception. More yards per catch than Malik and Brian Thomas in 2023. Jamar Chase in his Biletnikoff year, 21.2. Nick Anderson, 21.0. My point is, Nick Anderson is awesome. He is a freak. He is 6'4", 219, runs like a deer, is a massive target, and if he's healthy, he is going to be a parabolum for everybody. So I'm not mad that DJ Pickett got burned on a rep by one of the biggest freak show receivers in the country. DJ Pickett's going to have a role. Like, I know this much. I am confident that when LSU plays Clemson and the first defensive series they run out there, Mansour Delane's going to be one of your cornerbacks. He's the best guy you got. Delane's going to be one of your corners. I'd guess Ashton Stamps will be the other because he'll be a third-year guy who's been through the fires. And you're going to be on the road at Clemson. Trust a veteran. Got it. But you're going to see Pickett, and you're going to see Woodland, and you're going to see a heavy rotation there. Like, DJ Pickett will probably be on the field in the first defensive series at some point. He's going to play a ton. He's incredible. He's everything that he's been built up to be. And I'm excited to see him. But Kelly said the biggest surprise was how easily those early enrollees, those mid-years, have transitioned. Well, it's not surprising that 3 of them are also the 3 highest-rated prospects in your class. Yes, you anticipate those guys stepping in and having a role immediately. One wild card is Charles Ross, too. Linebacker. He went through spring this year as well. And he got a lot of run just because you're thin on numbers. Whit Weeks didn't participate as he's recovering. Harold Perkins has been out, although he's playing the star. You had West and Devon Keys out there. And after that, you were looking at Charles Ross. So don't be surprised, man, if 30 throughout the course of the season. Fines. It's going to be tough when Witt is back, and of course you have West coming back for a senior year. But sleeper, Charles Wall, we're in the 30. Same number that Greg Penn did. I have to get Greg Penn on the show soon. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Big shout out to Miss Beth Barron over at Shaw Bills. Earlier this year was named the Modern Tire Dealer of the Year. That is a national award among all tire dealers in America. Miss Beth Barron here at Shaw Bills won that award. Congrats, and so well deserved. Tell you every day, you need tires, name brand tires, wholesale prices. Shaw Bills has got you covered, and they treat you like family. So, you need your oil changed? Shaw Bills. You need your tires rotated? Shaw Bills. Brakes are squeaking? Shaw Bills. Need new windshield wipers? Shaw Bills. Whatever you need done for your car, Shaw Bills will help you out, and they'll treat you like family. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Will Miller is going to join us in 15 minutes. He covers the Alabama Crimson Tide. Tomorrow, LSU-Alabama baseball series gets underway. Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week. Remember, the league did that. It's been a few years now since they implemented that change where the whole league plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday of Easter weekend. So not a lot of time for LSU, but that's a good thing. You'll get a chance to bounce back after the Auburn sweep here with Bama coming in Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll take a closer look at the Tide here in 15 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Have you done it yet? Have you called River City's 1 hour air? God, Doc Scone, you keep telling me to do that. I keep forgetting. This is the moment right now. Get your phone out. Now, if you're driving, you could use SIRI, because every time I say, hey, Siri, everybody's phones go bonkers. Oh, mine just did it. When I say, hey, Siri, call River City's 1 hour air. I wonder how many people's phones just did that. Muse, did yours do it? No, mine did it. Anyway, look, preseason AC tune-up. It's so important, y'all. I wouldn't, listen, I practice what I preach. I'm not telling you to do something I wouldn't do. I am a member of the River City's 1 hour air membership club. Like this, and that's not free for me. Like I pay for it because it's worth it. I get the seasonal maintenance complimentary as part of the club. You get front of the line service. You get membership pricing. Highly recommend, but make sure you get your AC tune up. Extend the life of your unit. River City's 1 hour air.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Win free tickets to the WNBA preseason game at the PMAC on May 2nd. Watch Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky take on the Brazil national team. Enter the Show Us Your Angel giveaway for a chance at premium seating and an autographed Angel Reese basketball. Sign up at 1045ESPN.com. And you'll see Haley Van Lith.
Oh, yeah? I need you to... Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, and you'll see Haley Van Lith. Obviously, they were reunited with in the WNBA draft a night ago. So both of them play for the Chicago Sky.
The Chicago Sky.
Shout out to the WNBA commissioner. She had a rough day at the draft, but it's fine.
What's her name?
That's a great question. You ask a lot of great questions.
That's why I sit here, Muse.
Yep, she's the commissioner of the WNBA, Matt. Does a fine job.
What's her name?
We're going to go with Beth. She looks like a Beth. Sounds like a Beth.
It's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah? Is it embarrassing?
It's embarrassing that you don't know who that is.
Yeah.
You sit in that chair and you work on this show and you don't know the commissioner of the WNBA.
It's a big WNBA show.
Who's the commissioner of the NFL?
Roger Goodell.
Who's the commissioner of the NBA?
Adam Silver.
Who's the commissioner of Major League Baseball?
Rob Manfred.
Who's the commissioner of the National Hockey League?
I don't know.
Gary Bettman.
Okay.
Who's the commissioner of the WNBA?
Jill. Jill.
You sound like me trying to guess your parents' name.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, you know my parents' first names. You just don't know anything else there. Jill.
No.
Okay. Dana.
Nope. Muse, why do you hate women?
I don't hate women.
Sounds like you hate women.
This is a lie. I love women.
Paulie, does it sound like he hates women?
It kind of sounds that way.
I don't.
It's really unfortunate, Muse.
Yeah.
What you're doing right now.
Jessica.
Nope.
Man.
And you work on a sports show.
Yeah.
At a sports station.
Yeah. I do.
How can you ever expect anybody to take you seriously if you don't know the name of the commissioner of the WNBA? Now, in fairness, she doesn't know how to say Louisiana.
That's true. Oh, I had to get that one. It's right here, though.
No worries, Muse. Just kill the moment.
Louisiana State University.
It's just a rough day for our girl, Maria.
Nope. Nope.
Man.
Cuh.
Claire?
Nope.
Kathy? All right. Kathy? Like it?
Yep.
I mean, last name's just real difficult. I mean, that could be anything.
Could be. But it's not anything.
So you're telling me that you knew the WNBA commissioner's name?
Kathy Engelbert.
Yeah. You just knew that off the top of your head.
Just like I knew Gary Bettman and you did.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know Gary Bettman.
Do I know any hockey players?
Yeah, you know Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby.
I've said this before. If I had to name 10 active hockey players to save my life, I'd be dead. But I knew Gary Bettman. You want to know why, Muse? Because when you sit here, you got to know Gary Bettman.
Why?
Because it's about knowing a surface level amount of a broad spectrum of topics and a deep amount of a few topics that are our focus. Like, I know everything there is to know about LSU and the Saints and the Pelicans and things like that. Like, I actually sat there and watched the Pelicans on the Gulf Coast Sports Network.
Yeah, man, that's...
over the last month, when I know, like, Jake Madison and I were the only people watching. I know it. Maybe Jordan. Maybe.
Jordan was watching.
Probably not, actually.
Jordan was watching.
I don't think he was.
Graf was watching.
Not on the Gulf Coast Sports Network.
Not on,
okay.
Not on the Gulf Coast
I
Sports
was watching on the Gulf Coast Sports Network.
Yeah.
With Joel and AD on the call. And
Also
our guy,
great.
Andrew Lopez.
Also great, yeah.
They're great.
The Pelicans broadcast, if only the play of the team
It's unbelievable.
could rise
and
to
I'll
the
tell
level
you,
of the Pelicans broadcast.
You want another one?
Yeah.
For years, when Jim Henderson was the voice of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Saints, one of the most putrid franchises in the history of the NFL, had one of the greatest radio play-by-play men in the league. And then they decided to hire the offensive lineman, which was the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Thank God they've finally decided, let's get a broadcaster in there who might actually be able to handle it a bit. God bless Streif. I'm not trying to knock him. Like, and I think Zach worked very hard at it, but there's 32 of those, man. Like, hire someone that can handle the job.
Must just be a New Orleans thing.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
They've had tremendous, like, Graf is amazing.
Graf's awesome. Him and JD, awesome.
But then think about it this way, Muse. Look at all of the talent from here that's gone to national acclaim.
Yeah.
RC, Spears, Booger. Look at SEC Network. Ben McDonald. I mean, he's even beyond SEC Network. Ben calls games for the Orioles and works for ESPN. T-Dub.
Yeah.
There's Jen Hale.
I mean,
dude, like,
Jen's great.
It's kind of crazy. Like, there's an insane amount of talent, media talent from here. I think honestly, I think there's a massive hat tip attaboy to LSU and the Manship School, which I'm a proud alum. I know you are as well.
Same. Yep.
But it's like they have produced some incredible talent, people who have natural ability that was honed there and has gone on to do great things. So there is, I think, a lot of we got like a little hot spot of media talent down here. I don't know how do we? Oh, because I was talking about the Gulf Coast Sports Network.
The Gulf Coast Sports
and
Network.
then the Saints.
Yeah. And our great friend Kathy Williams, the commissioner of the WNBA.
Engelbert.
Oh yeah, Engelbert.
Bert.
Engelbert. Engel.
With an E.
Engelbert. Kathy Engelbert.
Louisiana State University.
Nailed it. Hey, you want to win $10,000? We're giving that away at Parrish Construction and Roofing. All you got to do is go to parrishbuilt.com. So, by the way, tomorrow, remember we did a $5,000 giveaway last month? We're actually going to shoot the money gun of $5,000 cash at the winner tomorrow. We just had some scheduling thing to get that, but doing it tomorrow. And so next Friday, we're announcing the winner of $10,000 cash. You want to be entered? Easy. Just sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection. That's all you got to do. There's no purchase necessary. You don't have to buy anything. It's not. All you have to do is sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection. Go to parrishbuilt.com. All the info's on the homepage, parrishbuilt.com. Sign up. We'll be in touch. Maybe we do a roof inspection. Maybe you need a roof. Maybe you don't. Maybe you need a repair. Maybe you want a soft wash. I don't know. Maybe you need gutters. Maybe you don't need anything. It doesn't matter. We're going to give somebody $10,000. So go to parrishbuilt.com and sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection. We'd love to help you out. And we'd love to give somebody $10,000. That's happening a week from Friday. Parrishbuilt.com. Parrishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Parrishbuilt.com. Okay, LSU, since Muse wasted the whole segment there. Well, I'm sorry. If you were a good sportscaster and knew Kathy Engelbert, that would have been a 5-second passing. Then we would have been on to the segment, Muse. But instead, you got us bogged down in that.
Well, I think we all learned something.
That you're a misogynist.
No.
Clearly.
That's not true at all.
I think that's exactly what we learned. Paul, is that what we learned just now?
That's exactly it.
I know I got what we learned today. if we ever get to that segment again. You can laugh on Mike. That's fine.
That's a fossil, that segment. I mean, brother, that thing is prehistoric at this point.
We're going to get to what we learned, I promise. Well, we didn't do it at all. And when Ott was out, it would have been the perfect time to bring it back.
That really would have been, and we just didn't do it. We were like, ask us, but not really. Oh, man.
Not really.
We'll do what we learned and talk about Marshawn Lattimore trade rumors later.
That's going to, right after we get to the Greg Penn interview. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. Hey, somebody asked me yesterday, hey, what's the mosquito thing you always talk about? So it's called the Aeon Mosquito Barrier. And yes, they got them at Clegg's. Been telling you about that. So I tell you all the time about the things that you want to add to your lawn and your garden. The beautiful flowers and hanging baskets and tuned wind chimes and the plants and the trees and the shrubs and everything that's gorgeous. A lot of times you have unwanted things as well, like mosquitoes and ants, snakes, weeds. They got everything to get rid of all that. The Aeon Mosquito Barrier, they got it at Clegg's. You need ant killer, they got it at Clegg's. You need your weed control products, they got it at Clegg's. So get on by and see our friends at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in. Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
belief and confidence is the most important asset a player can have. And, the players on the team, can choose to have their own belief system about themselves and each other. And I believe that's really strong with this team. So I want to see that. I saw that last night. I saw that for the 2 practices leading up to tonight. I want to see it again today in preparation and leave it all out on the field, in another very competitive environment.
Jay Johnson met with reporters on Wednesday, the day before LSU opens up their Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against Alabama. Will Miller covers the Alabama baseball team for Bama Central. Also, Brawl Talk MMA. Will, what's up, man?
Matt, how you doing?
I'm awesome. Okay, way more important than this stupid baseball series. Who do you think Poirier is going to get for his final fight?
Definitely looking like the trilogy with Max Holloway at this point. Seems like there's nothing left for Max to do at 145 after the fight last October. I think it just lines up in a way that makes sense for both guys, especially with Poirier not really on the front end of that title picture right now.
BMF fight, what a way to go out, huh?
Exactly.
Let's go, dude. It's going to be in New Orleans. That's the rumor down here anyway. It's going to be in NOLA, and I'm fired up for it. Big MMA guy, dude. So I saw that on your Twitter bio or your X bio. I'd rather talk to you for 10 minutes about MMA than baseball, but that's not why we have you here. So let's talk baseball. All right, Bama started hot. Lately, they've been not. What's been going on there? Why the swoon lately?
It's just one of those baseball things is what it looks like, first and foremost. Some days when they can't pitch, they're hitting, and then you see it go the other way around, like their most recent SEC game this past Sunday against Mississippi State at home. They had, and standard hasn't necessarily been what they're used to, but one of their better starting pitching performances of the last 2 weeks, and they only got 2 hits. And that was after they had demoted their normal Sunday starter. He started the ball game last night. So they've had to figure out the starting pitching, which, of course, any contending baseball team has got to have that down pat. But it's really just been certain games, certain phases don't show up.
Yeah. Everybody's talked about Justin LeBron. I mean, it's hard to have a conversation about Alabama where you don't start there, work it in. Kind of give us some context on what it's been like watching him this season.
He's an absolutely incredible athlete, and I think anybody will tell you that. I'm sure you've heard that. People talk about his glove, and truthfully, it's really been a treat to watch his bat come along because last year he did an unbelievable job for a true freshman. He hit somewhere in the neighborhood of 340, had 11 home runs, and those are really strong numbers from somebody that initially, wasn't batting near the top of the order to start the year, as you would imagine. And this year he's been batting in that 2-hole, which is where Coach Vaughn says he likes to put his best hitter. And he has been one of the best hitters on the team. I mean, his plate discipline for his age is really up there. But he just impacts the baseball too in such a way that really makes his bat absolutely 80 grade.
It's an interesting thing because this is a team that's kind of smack dab in the middle of the conference offensively, a little in the lower half on the mound, but it all can't just be one guy offensively. If you were to characterize this Alabama offense, how would you do so?
I think dynamic is a good word for it. Even though they've had certain guys maybe not have the years they'd expect or tailed off over the last number of weeks, I think they have a lot of pieces that can do a lot of different things. For example, the center fielder, Richie Bonamolo, they've moved him into the leadoff spot over the last few weeks, and he's been an absolute weapon up there. He was in the 9-hole before that, and his on-base percentage is through the roof. And it seems like he hasn't tapered off at all. And, the backup catcher, for a backup catcher, hits the ball really well. Cade Snell, the team captain right there in the 3-hole, and his bat was absolutely on fire at the start of SEC play. He absolutely ravaged Texas A&M over there at Bluebell Park. There's a lot of different pieces to this offense, and like I mentioned at the top of the segment, I still think that maybe on certain days they haven't been the timeliest, but the ingredients are definitely there for them to really be potent.
Will Miller's with us. Bama Central covers the Crimson Tide baseball team. Go to the mound. By the way, do we know yet how Coach Vaughn is going to line up the rotation. Because Jay Johnson said earlier today that Bama hadn't released its pitching plans. Do we know or have a feeling what they're going to do?
I do not know, and I would have expected to have some insight on that by now. But I would think, based purely on my own speculations, that maybe things are still moving around a little bit because, like I mentioned, throughout this year, the weekend rotation was pretty consistent. Adams on Fridays, or in this case Thursday, Riley Quick is the number 2, and Bobby Alcock is the number 3. Bobby didn't start last weekend. He started last night, and so there's still kind of a void on who's going to be that number 3 guy. I would not expect it to be Bobby based on the fact that he threw 70-some-odd pitches last night. But I'm also not so sure if Zane is still going to get the ball first to start off the weekend because his last couple of starts haven't been his best. In Auburn, he only went 1 inning. They're going to get him with nobody out in the second. And then this past week against Mississippi State, he had another tough start, gave up, I think, a 3 spot in the first inning, and they're just chasing runs right there from the get-go. And he's a guy coming in. He's a sophomore. He's a lefty that, they expected was really going to settle in. He did some really nice things in SEC play last year, had that absolute gem against Arkansas in the series finale, went about 8 innings. And I think they thought he would take that next step, but in certain ways he hasn't, and that's not to say that he's gotten worse or anything, because I don't think that's the case. His stuff is there. The location just hasn't been on point. But all that's a long way of saying I don't know how certain I am that he's going to be the one to get the ball tomorrow night.
If not, best guess, what do they do?
Riley Quick.
Okay. So just sort of pitch just out of order. So you think they would go Quick, Adams, and then figure it out on Saturday?
That would be my guess, yeah.
Yeah, okay. If Bama comes into Baton Rouge and finds a way to steal a series, how do you think it looks?
I certainly think that it can change a lot of these recent narratives around because they've lost their last couple SEC series, their last 2 in a row. Obviously, they go and sweep Texas A&M. We know, though, how injured that team is and just how much they've kind of struggled getting acclimated to everything new after what the whole saga that happened last summer. And then they take the first game against Tennessee, and honestly, they're riding really high. They end up losing that series. They go and lose to Auburn in a performance that really all around, they won the middle game. They had to play a doubleheader on Saturday, but in a performance that all around just really wasn't that great. And baseball, obviously, as you know, is a sport of peaks and valleys, and I just think that they're on the low part of the roller coaster at this exact second, but they're certainly right back up there if they can win the series this weekend.
Will Miller, Bama Central. Any idea how you feel it goes this weekend? I mean, you can give a pick if you want, but just how you think it plays out?
I would guess that LSU wins the series. I think that the questions from a pitching standpoint, like I mentioned, Alabama's got the stuff to really threaten some of these lineups in the SEC, and they've done it before. I mentioned Bobby. He's the guy that's got the best start this season. 7 shutout against Texas A&M in the series finale. When they're pitching at their best, they're as difficult to hit as anybody. Zane Adams carved up Coastal Carolina in February, and that's a team that's found itself in the conversation. I know we're only in April to possibly be a regional host. So when they're on, they're on. But I think LSU's a different kind of animal. The way they get on you at the box is different, and that's SEC baseball. That's the tough environment that you live for in this scenario. But I think that based on, even though I know Auburn swept LSU and I think Auburn's really good, I think that the home field advantage is probably going to come through, and I would give LSU 2-1 the best odds.
Pretty desperate weekend for the Tigers coming off a sweep at Auburn. They need it, so we'll see how it all plays out. Will Miller over at Bama Central. Get him on Twitter as well. It's at RealWBMiller. You want to go give him a follow. Hey, Will, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time today.
Absolutely, Matt. Really appreciate you having me on.
Of course, man. It's our pleasure. We appreciate the time. It is After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Supper Club. Supper Club's open right now. So Richard Tilley, who's a partner over with Parish Construction Roofing, called me earlier today. He goes, hey, does Supper Club sell the butter cake? Like, can you just get the whole cake? He gave up sweets for Lent. He's like, for Easter, when my 40 days are up, I'm just going to sit down and eat an entire butter cake. It's the best dessert in Baton Rouge. And it is. So I know I tell you that only to say, we talk all the time about the steaks because they're amazing. I mean, if you want to try the Wagyu, you want to try the Omi beef, the herb beef, this type of steaks I tell you can find only at Supper Club in Baton Rouge. There's like 2 restaurants in America that serve that herb beef. One of them is Supper Club, the other's in New York City. So, I mean, you can have those experiences, but if you want like a USDA prime amazing steak, you'll get that at Supper Club as well. So that's why I always say, people think, I don't know if I can afford to, you can go have the $5,000 bottle of wine if you want. They got it all. I mean, you want to go balling, you can do it at Supper Club. You want to go have the best meal you'll ever eat at a fine dining restaurant, pay the same thing you would at any other fine dining restaurant, you'll do that at Supper Club as well. But it's not just the steaks, man. It's everything about Supper Club. Like, I love the Chilean sea bass. I have told you so many times, the veal parm, I dream about the veal parm. Everything on the menu is outstanding, and yes, the butter cake is probably the best dessert in Baton. Now, the creme brulee is a show. Like, they're going to come out and they're with the big, fire torch, and they're going to torch it table side. I mean, it's a show. I mean, everything is an experience at Supper Club. That butter cake, y'all. Whew. Just go experience it if you haven't. Go to Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservation. Oh, that's what I was supposed to tell you. Mother's Day. So they're not open on Sundays, but they are opening on Mother's Day. So you can get your reservations for Mother's Day. Let me make sure I have the time right. I think it's 11 to 3. Let me just make sure I have it right. I was talking to Chef Layton earlier today. It is 11 to 3. Yes, thank goodness. All right, 11 to 3. They're open on Mother's Day at Supper Club, so don't wait. It's going to book. So get your reservations now. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. Okay, it's after further review. Autolocks next. AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all, we're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Heading through the week. Maybe you don't want to cook tonight. Heading into Easter weekend. Tomorrow, of course, Holy Thursday. You're heading into the Easter weekend. You don't want to cook. You're getting things ready. Maybe you're having a crawfish bowl at the house. Remember, you can get your crawfish live or boiled at Rouse's. As a matter of fact, I know that's what my parents are doing. They're going to go to Rouse's on Sunday and get a whole bunch of crawfish, have the family over. You could do that. Or tonight, if you need dinner for the fam, just pop on in, man. Go to their hot bar. You walk into Rouse's. You go to the left. You'll see the hot bar. They got everything you want. If you want fried fish or chicken, or if you want sushi, pre-made grab-and-go sushi, they got that for you. It's made fresh in-house every single day. It's delicious. I've told you before, I love the bowls, the Asian bowls that they have. You want to get fried rice with like teriyaki chicken or whatever your flavor is. They got it. It's incredible. Check it out over at Rouse's. And of course, go make groceries with your mom and them. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life. So why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Otter Locks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing great, man. Eating a little boiled crawfish, soaking up the weather.
Let's go. Beautiful day.
Yes, indeed.
78
yes, indeed.
and sunny right now. Good day.
All we're missing is some horses running in an oval right now. So,
I don't love that time of year.
Yeah, and a foul-mouthed server, huh?
Yeah, I don't love that because when that rolls around, typically that means you're checking out and then we've lost you.
We've learned our lesson. We're just going to abstain during that 2-week period. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's go. Reds, same situation as last night. Down 1-0, getting a more favorable juice. Plenty of time to come back. So if you didn't put it in early, it's a 5:40 start. So we'll go with the Reds in that one.
Yep, they are right now at plus 130.
There you go. All right. Money line parlay. Dodgers -1. So to reduce the juice a little bit.
Okay.
And the White Sox, look, the White Sox are not good. I get that. But the A's aren't that much better either. That's a big number for a pretty even pitching matchup. So that parlay, White Sox money line and Dodgers -1, pays plus 230.
At DraftKings right now, Dodgers are minus a run and a half.
No, but you can do it to 1.
Oh, got it. Okay, so buy to 1. Got it. Okay.
Hit game lines. And yes. So,
got it.
And what else do I have for you today?
So we're looking at Orioles on the money line.
They already started. No score. So, yes, I think there's a little bit stronger lineup than their opponent. So I'm going to take the Orioles to win the rubber game of that match.
And one in the NBA with the Bulls.
Bulls up 3-0 this year against the Miami Heat. I definitely like Spoelstra on the bench in the playoffs, but I don't expect much different here. The Bulls have been more consistent. There was a lot of distractions, obviously, with the Jimmy Butler demanding a trade and things like that. But I'm going to take the home, and I like the way the line is coming down. It was at 2.5 earlier this afternoon. It's down to 1.5. So,
all right. So here we go. Let's recap. 4 plays in Major League Baseball. Orioles on the money line. Angels on the money line.
Yes, the Angels.
Oh, sorry. We didn't go over the Angels. Sorry about that.
Patrick Corbin Day. Remember, he's now serving up meatballs for the Rangers. So.
Let's go. All right, so the Angels, I'm looking at -125.
Right.
So
and the golf tomorrow, 2 common picks. Sepp Straka about 45-1, and Jordan Spieth at 45-1.
All right. So if you want to get in on the golf action, you can there as well. So tonight, 4 plays in Major League Baseball. Orioles, Angels, Reds all on the money line. Then a parlay with the White Sox on the money line and the Dodgers -1. And then in the NBA, the Bulls laying 2 tonight against the Miami Heat. Where are y'all tomorrow, Otter?
We are at Walk-On getting ready for the 3-game series. Everybody, because of Easter, playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, SEC series. So we'll be at the original Walk-On tomorrow getting ready for that.
Love it. All right, Otter, have a great show. Thank you.
Bon appetit.
We're brought to you by our friends over at First South Farm Credit. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Love telling you about Ben and Tim and all my friends over at First South Farm Credit. You hear so many of their loan officers introduce themselves on the recorded commercials that you hear run throughout the day, but they're great people, and they've been helping Louisianians buy land for more than 100 years. A lot of people that buy land already own land, so maybe you take some of the equity in your current property, roll it into your new purchase. As Terrio's fond of saying, they ain't making more dirt. It's a finite amount. You want to get some of it. Could be a great investment property as well. Ask your CPA. It's First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Okay, y'all. We're getting out of here. Muse Paulie, I appreciate it. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 for our last show of the week.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.